And we're live, and I bet chat didn't hear a thing of that, did they? I wonder if I've managed to boomer up the audio as usual.
I wouldn't know. I'm gonna click on YouTube any minute now.
No, it's just come up. I can actually hear your audio.
Oh,
we can hear your glorious theme tune, mate.
Oh, nice! I actually didn't fuck it up this time. Hey, 8 episodes and
congratulations.
Was it? We're on episode. Oh, I've done it wrong because we are episode 9, aren't we? Hey, so I managed to fuck some of it up anyway.
You haven't posted a link to this in the Telegram, have you?
Yeah, no, I haven't done that either.
Yeah. Have you done any publicising for this stream whatsoever?
No, we're not doing too bad. We got 10 viewers already.
And not one of those viewers is me, because...
Or me.
Yeah.
Or me.
Yeah. So there's 6 people in this chat, so that means 4 people are watching.
Right, so there's the link in the side chat, boys. And I'm confused because we normally spend the first 5 or 10 minutes doing tech support, don't we?
Yeah, I'm waiting for everyone else to show up.
Yeah,
and it's worked, and I'm here.
Yeah, we got Hobbit back.
The YouTube link.
Right, wicked, great. Do you want to go through everyone else that's here?
Right, so tonight we have me, Hemi, we've got Jackson, we got Capstan, we got YouKipper, and we've got... Oh no, I'm not saying that, so I'm just going to say Hobbit.
It's Hobbit, yes. It definitely is Hobbit. They wouldn't let me choose Hobbit as a name for some reason.
But it would let you choose that.
The name you've got now is fine.
Thank you very much, Jackson. Let's go with Hobbit, shall we?
Yeah. Oh dear. So, what's been going on this week that anybody particularly wants to talk about? Before we start.
Yeah, I've got stories. One. I've actually got a really good one. Virginia, the state of Virginia in the United States has finally told the Democrats to fuck off.
Oh,
and
Capstan,
they tried. They tried importing.
You know, who lives in Virginia, don't you?
You what, sir?
I've had some good burgers.
You know, he lives in Virginia, don't you?
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna drive to your house. I know where you live. I'm actually gonna shove your face into
hot stuff.
That's hot stuff, and you can get it many different places.
I thought we weren't going to do burger posting.
Well, but I'm going to leave this fucking stream, honestly. This is taking the piss.
Right. Oh, actually, he lives in Montana, doesn't he? I fucked that up, didn't I?
I didn't realise that 12-year-olds were allowed on the internet anymore. I thought you had to, get your parents' permission or something.
Capstan.
Anyway,
what?
It's not your fault you're on Nick Knock, is it?
Oh, fuck off.
He's going to have new drops soon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, so, anyway, as you were saying, Virginia, what have Virginia been up to?
Oh, yeah, Virginia. Virginia have told Democrats to fuck off, and there's a sheriff there who's based as all fuck, who decided it'd be a really good idea that if they tried restricting firearms in Virginia, that traditionally has a very, 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 very good policy of not infringing on the rights of the populace to keep and bear arms, and has said that if they introduce gun law into Virginia, he will make every gun-owning citizen in Virginia a deputy of his police department. Like an absolute fucking lad. So, yeah, that's... I don't often have good things to say about our American friends, but on this occasion, well, my hat's off to that particular gentleman.
Wasn't it also Virginia where the thing come around with the sheriff leading the black guy on the horse?
I believe it was, yeah. The most bad optics situation that police department has ever been in, but
or
still.
Good optics, depending on who you are.
Yeah, depending, yeah.
But to be fair, though, they arrested him, and because they didn't have a patrol vehicle, it's just like, well, you're walking with us. So, lasso time.
Rope 'em, doggy. Did anyone see the Groiper on Question Time last night?
Was he the one saying about will Jeremy Corbyn ban Age of Sigmar and bring back Warhammer Classic Fantasy and nationalise Games Workshop?
No, Emma Barnett's, because they were doing one for the youth last night. Emma Barnett's doing her intro, and there's some lad doing the OK sign behind her.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It was really subtle, but it wasn't. Like, he's got his hands between his legs in the front row, and the camera's panned round, and he just flashes the upside down OK symbol.
Nice.
And you're like, subtle.
So he's literally the same as Breivik. No, not Breivik. Brenton Tarrant.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much this anything which we use and have fun with becomes a hate symbol. So Christmas hat is a hate symbol now.
Is it?
Well, it's going to be.
It is on my Twitter header.
Christmas lights as well.
I was quite lucky. I chose Beavis as my avatar, and there's one with him with the Christmas hat on. So,
yeah, I think it's that OK thing was one of Paul's finest moments, actually convincing the media that the OK sign was a fucking white supremacist symbol. That was pretty hilarious.
But the problem is, they persuaded that the media that it was a white supremacist symbol, and then all the white nats and ethno nats and such went, "Oh, cool," and then just started using it.
Yeah, it's kind of a chicken. It's kind of a chicken and the egg, isn't it? It's like what came first, the OK sign, or it being white, or it being a Nazi sign?
Nazi.
Yeah, I think these things sort of end up blurring the lines because it's the same as it's okay to be white. That I think, in a sense, that leftists are right. They're saying, yeah, it might be a sort of very benign slogan, but the truth behind it is, it's nefarious, it's calculated, and it is. It's a genius idea. But yeah, like I said, the lines are being blurred so much to the point that they can really make the case that the OK symbol is a racist white supremacist one. And I think that, like Jackson said, it's hilarious. It's great.
And the best thing I think about the whole OK to be white thing as well is when people were arguing sort of against it, you pushed them into a corner where they actually said, no, it's not okay to be white. And that really, and I don't think that anyone sort of on their side particularly disagreed with that statement, but I think it went away to sort of waking people up. There's people literally saying that it's not okay to be fucking white. And I think
lad.
You finally found your way on, Mosley.
I've been on about 5 minutes. I've just been listening.
Right.
Oi, lad.
Evening all.
That's you,
All right, mate.
That's YouKipper, Mosley.
Yeah, I gathered that one. Yeah. Hobbit, you sound like you're recording or broadcasting from a toilet.
No, that's terrible. I don't know what to do about that.
Well, stop
Hobbit
sucking blokes
Hobbit
off in the
records.
gents and find it your proper studio. Then you muppet.
Hobbit
No,
records
no.
from a Dickens novel. Everybody knows that. He's broadcasting from the workhouse.
One moment, please. Is that any better?
That's a little bit better.
I closed the door.
What of the toilet you're broadcasting from? Well, that is very good.
How considerate.
Professionalism.
Not all of us can afford to live in places with nice plush walls, deaden sound. We have to make do with what we got.
Yeah.
Are you using one of them fucking they look like robot cocks? Blue Yetis.
No, it's a Zoom H2N. It's a field mic, but wow,
Yeah,
make
then
do
again,
with what
Hobbit,
you
you could do fucking read out those sort of anal cunt lyrics, but do it in like ASMR. So it'd be like you scratch the mic, go, "Hello everyone, it's Hobbit here. I want you to die. I want you to die. I want you to die. Die, you fucking bitch."
You look divorced. You look divorced. Did I do You Look Divorced? That was
No, I
one of
don't
my
think you've done that one.
favourites.
It's all new content. Nobody knows we're Grub and Soil anyway, Hobbit. Just pretend it didn't happen. You can start again.
Yes. I mean, the alternative, I could do it in my bedroom, but then you're going to have the squeaks of the bed, and I just think that's not very professional.
No, because when you go to your bedroom, you lean your phone on your chest and it keeps falling over, and people can't hear what you say. I remember that one.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then it's phone posting, and that's not as good. So no, it doesn't really work. Do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about elections? I mean, I know Mark and Co they've done a thing about that, and I thought, do we have anything else to add to that?
I haven't listened to Mark yet. Did he mention
it.
spoiling the ballot?
I mean, I'm just going to write Oswald Mosley on mine, even though UKIP has showed me reasons why I should vote Tory.
UKIP, are you aware of our campaign to spoil the ballot?
No.
Yeah, so basically, if you spoil, because we've really got no choice. You've got neoliberal or neoconservative. Well, I don't think Magic Grandpa's really neoliberal, is he? But basically, because we don't have a choice. I mean, if you live in a fairly solid conservative area, then what we're suggesting is spoiling the ballot, so then you can get your own message across. Because apparently. When Horus was on TASOB the other day, they said that apparently your spoilt ballot has to be shown to the local MP.
I didn't know that. That's a good point. And I certainly think if you're in a safe seat, if you're in a safe seat, there's no harm done. I think definitely, as Mark Collett was saying yesterday, you definitely need to go out and vote, regardless of whether you're just going to spoil it or vote for a party. I think you should definitely make use of it. And Usurius was saying, you end up being ruled by the idiots if you don't end up turning out the vote. So we need to take the initiative. And as you say, it's a good idea putting doing any initiative just to get people voting for something. I think it's a good idea.
I mean, one of the things they talked about, but they didn't further elaborate on their stream, Morgoth said there is a specific way you can spoil your ballot where it'll be counted as a spoiled ballot and not just a failure to vote. And I found
I know what you have to do. Right.
Yeah.
So in order to count that as not just a failure to vote and an actual spoilt ballot, you have to write the word in capital letters none. That's NONE, and then underline it once or twice. Write that across all of the ballot, right? Because it's called voting none, right? And it's different from a failure to vote in the fact that if there are enough none ballots put forward, then they have to rerun the election.
Can I put a picture of a giant cock as well?
I don't know. You'd have to look that up.
Well, you see, I'm looking here at the 8 pages of examples of how not to spoil your ballot. There's a website called votingcounts.org.uk, and one example here, which is on page 8 of them, voters' intentions uncertain. I'll describe.
Do you want to chuck that into chat, Hobbit? So people can...
Oh yeah, sorry, I'll put it in the Discord chat. I'll put it into...
put it in the YouTube chat so all our YouTube viewers can see it.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can do that. Here's the one. Post. There we go. Yeah, there we go. It's a link. So I'm just saying on page 8 of it, viewers in the audience, you click that link, you go to page 8 in the PDF, and even though he's written none of the above, it still looks like you're voting for the last candidate, which is on this ballot. It's called Wendy Miller of the Alternative Power Forum. So, do we want to carry on? Because I'm sure the audience can listen to us whilst they're looking at that website.
I found a news story here from the 3rd of May from the Swindon Advertiser. Basically, if you can get enough spoiled ballot votes, you'll get an article in the local paper.
In Swindon.
Yeah, well,
that's
in
like
Swindon,
in Somalia.
Well, it soon adds up, doesn't it?
I work with people from Swindon. This might be worthwhile, but I don't vote in Swindon.
Well, I
just think of Sargon. I just think of Sargon. It's cursed, isn't it? Swindon.
Yeah, but ironically, it's got one of the highest concentrations of British online nationalist personalities in one city.
Clapston, you're
It
not
really
a
has.
personality.
I can count like fucking 10 people that either live in or within proximity of Swindon.
Are you
It's
counting
fucking
yourself?
mad. No.
It's too bad. I mean, it's because I mean, speaking with a few Swindonians, they are proper like just don't like them, just kick them all out. Hanging's too good for them.
What,
And
hanging's too good for
sort of things
Swindonians?
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is that you speak with Swindons about their true feelings about diversity and ethnics and stuff like that, and they're just the stuff they say can't be repeated on YouTube anymore. And sort of fingers crossed, my channel's too small to be noticed in the mass culling, which is going to happen this month.
Well, I thought that was going to be them part of the mass culling. They're going to kill off anybody less than 1,000 subscribers.
Well, that's the thing. They said if you're not commercially viable, we don't want you. But I'm thinking, what they just going to do a filter? It's like, oh, less than 1,000 subscribers, delete.
I don't know. I think when they say commercially viable, I think they're going to go for whether you're advertiser friendly or not. I think that's what they're going to sort of go for there, because there's so many channels that are like massively demonetized, and you can't get adverts on any of the shit that you do. So I think that's probably where they're gonna target. I've got adverts on like I think 2 of mine.
My channel's been demonetized from the get-go, but I made very sure to, like, from day one.
That was because it was called Fucky Sucky Jam Tits.
Yes, from day one, I made sure that it wasn't family friendly.
Don't make out the YouTuber on you from the start. It was because you called it Fucky Sucky Jam Tits.
It was 2005. It was a different era. Oh, was it 2007 YouTube came out?
2005 YouTube came out, wasn't it?
Oh, it was 2005. Yeah, in that case, I did mine in 2006 because I remember it was sort of out for a bit and then thought, oh, I'll sign up for this. And then YouTube, I think, got them in 2007. Oh, the chat's having fun with Swindon posting.
Yeah. Well, anyway, all I was doing was I was using Swindon as an illustrative example that if we get enough of us in an area and we all spoil our ballots, we could actually get a news story out of it.
Yeah, but chat doesn't care about what you're saying. Chat's just like, yeah, let's move to Swindon and make it the ethnic safe space.
But you don't want to move to Swindon. It's like, it's the worst city in the southwest. It is literally the arsehole of England. It is full of chavs, pikeys, jippos, packies, and other such horrible filth. It's disgusting.
And that's just the one lad we know from Swindon.
I happen to know that in Swindon, in Anglo-Saxon, it means land of 1,000 roundabouts.
Yeah,
but that's not
very good.
Yeah, but that's not where the first roundabout was. The first roundabout was in Welwyn Garden City. There's a sign.
I love how American ethno-nationalism is. Let's make a cult in Montana, sort of Far Cry 5 style, and we're talking about reconquering fucking Swindon.
Yeah, but then if we start by reconquering Swindon, that means we've got wonderful transport links to both London and Bristol via the M4. So it actually makes some like really sensible, first strike territory, lads.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that in the history books? And it all started with the reconquista of Swindon.
Yes. Not quite Constantinople.
I've just figured our lad from Swindon's in the chat.
Did you not see him?
He's legit in the chat. I'm not sorry.
So an order for glory says Pig Hill, and it's like, yeah, they keep trying to say it's the Swine Down, but no. We all know we all know it means land of 1,000 roundabouts. Anglo-Saxon says, what shall we call this hill? It's like roundabouts. I mean, there's no need for roundabouts back in them olden days, but they still had them.
Wasn't it the Anglo-Saxon word for roundabout, which was barrow?
To To be fair though, the magic roundabout is like a fairly decent gyratory system. The problem is that people are so retarded they don't know how to use it properly. So they just go, big roundabout, oh fuck, oh yeah, You know, I swear it's just an IQ test for can you drive a car around the magic fucking roundabout.
It's the magic
roundabout. They've got crossroads. They've got the fucking intersections. Which a good thing is, apparently, you can turn right on a red.
Yeah, you can.
But you've also got diverging diamond interchanges, which is like, all right, now you're driving into oncoming traffic because of the way the diverging diamond works. And it's just like, you mean it doesn't work because they got this paranoia about, no, I don't like that. I don't like roundabouts. What do you mean I've got to give way to oncoming traffic?
Oh, Adam's got a good point. I thought Milton Keynes was the land of roundabouts because there's literally a fucking roundabout on every corner, isn't there?
Yeah, but the problem is with Milton Keynes that it hasn't got a magic roundabout.
It's the magic roundabout.
They're not special enough to have a roundabout.
Milton Keynes is an absolute.
It is though. It legit is the most dreariest place in the fucking world.
Well, Zero thinks it's satanic, doesn't he? We're going to do an episode on 14 words on Milton Keynes because Zero thinks it's satanic.
I mean,
yeah, but Zero thinks lots of things.
That's true. to be fair, though, that is true. But not Swindon, Milton Keynes is the whitest town in all of the UK.
Oh, that's so depressing.
For all you Milton Keynes, for all you Milton Keynes fans out there, just watch Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. The city scenes are filmed in Milton Keynes. I shit you not.
They're not, are they?
I think Clockwork Orange was filmed. Some of it was in Thamesmead, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, the underpass, isn't it?
The urban hellscape was filmed in Thamesmead.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. That. Oh dear.
I can say now that having driven both through Swindon, Milton Keynes, and Reading's probably the worst because they've got a 5-lane roundabout there. And whilst I was there, I saw 2 rear-end incidents, which was fun. But the magic roundabout, what?
You saw 2 rear-end incidents. I said we were out dogging or something.
Yes, on the 5-lane roundabout, I was out dogging.
Danger dogging.
Hobbit.
In a toilet.
Did you have to drive like a van onto the roundabout just to get the porter cabin in the middle of the roundabout? So taking your own disabled toilet to the middle of a roundabout to do some danger dogging. I mean, that's commitment, mate. That's not just a Saturday night romp in a car park.
You don't get Antifa for doing that, do you?
And yet, despite the rampant autism, I'm still not allowed a blue pass.
Can you get one for ADHD, Hobbit?
No, you don't. Oh.
I thought you got disability for ADHD.
I wish the colleague at work knew this. He's got ADHD.
Aye.
I set him a task to flat pack all the cardboard boxes.
Shots fired from our Swindonian listener. He says you need a real Swindonian on the podcast.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Right, so should we actually talk about some news or current events or anything that's not about dogging on a 5-lane roundabout?
I don't know. We've got the most live views ever, and we're just talking about roundabouts.
What about all the propaganda that Labour Party have been pumping out?
I don't know. I think we should just keep talking about roundabouts, to be quite honest. I mean,
seems quite
it's
popular.
like Jeremy Corbyn releases some bent video. I mean, or we could just talk more about how, So, Hobbit, have you got any other favourite dogging spots?
Well, I'll tell you what now. I mean, what is Jeremy Corbyn's stance on roundabouts? Is he talking about having traffic-controlled intersections instead? Because that's proper gay.
Or is he just trying to use a roundabout? Is he building a roundabout around every major issue so he doesn't have to address any of them?
Yeah, so that way, it just keeps the questioners just circulating around, just keep them moving. No one actually stops there, so he has to answer them. He just wants to do away with all traffic lights and just have roundabouts everywhere.
Is that like the Labour? Speaking of, if we're going to try and link this seamlessly into current events, is that just Labour's new policy, which is give way to the right? That was a shit joke, but either way. Anyway, lads, should we talk about it?
If you'd have made it a bit more nuanced and gone slightly more to the right, slightly to the right, I think it would have landed better.
Fuck it, we've done it now. Anyway,
Give way to the right.
Oh mate. Anyway, 8-bit. You made the suggestion. What have you got to say about it?
Well, you look at the kid on the floor I was referring to in Leeds Hospital, was it? I think that was
the kid who fell out. The kid who fell out of bed between a bed and a stool.
Yeah,
you can see the legs of both in the picture.
They've jumped on it, saying basically this is the reason these kids are lying on floors in hospitals in this country because of the Conservatives. And it sort of begs the question. If you look at like the National Socialists and you look at the communists of the past, like Soviet Republic and stuff. It was kind of like looking at that, and they used to pump out propaganda, and all you get from like the liberals and is the criticism of propaganda and authoritarians. And this Labour are just pumping this propaganda out. And what the scariest thing for me is these people like swallow it whole, like people were 50, 60, 70 years ago. They seem to people haven't changed. In actual fact, they've got worse with their consumption, and it seems to be like I think we underestimated how stupid people are, and I think we've underestimated how close this election is going to be come 2 days, 48 hours from now.
Do you reckon it's close? I don't. I think it's scary.
No, I'll tell you this.
I think it might be like a reverse Bradley.
No.
Is it the Bradley effect? The one where people won't admit their proper political views. With all the anti-Semitism talk about surrounding Corbyn, it might be the opposite effect, where people are afraid to say they're voting Labour.
I just think that you look at it, and people, it's easy to dismiss. I mean, Boris hasn't exactly set the world on fire with his campaign. I think he's kept it very safe, but then, made a couple of goofs here and there, which he usually does.
Oh God,
anyway.
have you seen that new Love Actually political?
Yes, I saw.
With the mixed race couple on the sofa.
That's what I'm referring to. Just crap like that he comes out with, and it seems to me like there's a lot of interaction with Labour are really, really trying hard. I mean, if you look at in my area especially, it's consistent Labour everywhere. Yet I barely hear a peep out of the Tories. So it's whether they think they've got it in the bag and they don't need to make any effort, I don't know. But it seems to me that there's going to be more people voting for Corbyn than I think we believe there would be. But hopefully I'm wrong. I would like to be wrong on that subject, but we shall see.
I mean, as much as certain parties say they'll be packing their bags and leaving if Corbyn gets into power, I'm still not voting Labour.
Are we talking about Brexit?
No, not Brexit. No, I'm saying about other religious groups.
We're talking about Corbyn, remember? Corbyn gets elected.
Oh,
right. Great Israeli exodus.
The men in little hats.
Yes.
110, but this time it's voluntary.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say this time it's personal. I was about to say, easy, lad, easy.
I think I'll chime in here, though, because as far as this election goes and with Labour, I do say there's always potential for an upset from Corbyn, but I think if there was an upset, it would have been in the last election, because looking at it comparatively, he really had the wind in his sails in the last election, whereas I see his campaign now and I don't see that same energy. And they need to be winning seats. And as far as I can tell, and this is coming from the Labour Party internally, is that they're doing their best to maintain seats that they hold. They're trying not to lose seats. Now, the opposition shouldn't be trying to maintain their seats. They should be looking to win a majority, and they're not even looking to gain. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not at all worried about a Corbyn being Prime Minister, because quite frankly I just don't see it happening, especially with the SNP. That's the biggest thorn in his side, is that he can't regain Scotland, so he just doesn't have the numbers. Now, like I said, there's always the possibility of a surprise, but I feel as things stand, that Boris Johnson, as he said, he's been playing a very safe game, and I think this, especially with this election, it's going to be a low turnout. So, like I said, there's a possibility of a surprise with a low turnout, as you say. But I do think Johnson's campaign, he's hit all the right notes. He's said what's need to be said. He's acting like he wants to get Brexit over and done with, like the majority of people, regardless of the affiliation. They're sick of it. So I mean, he's done reasonably well, and I just can't see Corbyn winning seats, which is what he needs to be doing.
Yeah. So who's voting? Sorry, Jackson, carry on, mate.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the one thing in this election and all, I think that Johnson is playing it so much safer as well, because, you know, he saw how shit he done against Theresa fucking May of all people. And I don't like Johnson. I'm not a fan of him whatsoever. I don't like the Conservatives, but in terms of sheer incompetence, I don't think he's anywhere near Theresa May. I think he's already a lot more popular, despite what what the sort of propaganda and the sort of the very well-oiled.
You're right. He had far.
Boris
to talk over you.
Sorry,
he had far more of a chance to win against May than he would against Johnson.
But didn't they have the last election? They said that the election was going to be a Tory landslide, and they had to form a coalition.
Yeah, but
with the DUP
that was May. Nobody was invested in May. Were they?
You can pretty much lay that at her door. The whole, the whole shit stance on Brexit and having the fucking personality of a wet sock didn't help either. You know,
don't forget they had to repeal several of the proposed things in the manifesto, like fox hunting and something to do with the winter allowance for the OAPs, something like that. They had to. So yeah, it was a terrible campaign under May. It was absolutely atrocious. You don't forget that. I can't remember anything quite like it, because as far as I was concerned, all she needed to do was say Brexit means Brexit and she'd get a few more seats, and that's all she needed. She just needed to consolidate. She already had the numbers. In fact, and then she went and lost and had to do a coalition with the DUP. So yeah, they ran a really bad campaign, and there was nothing there to vote for. So don't underestimate just how bad that campaign was.
Oh, it was fucking diabolical, and they still didn't make any gains. I mean, yeah, like you said, all she needed to say was, we're going to deliver Brexit, and then just shut her mouth. But instead, okay, we might deliver Brexit. We're going to try to deliver Brexit. Oh, and we're also going to fuck up foxes and the elderly, because that's what the people want.
Yeah.
But don't well, does anyone know what the demographic voting like is? Because obviously, in the younger demographic, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to vote for Labour. It's the older generation.
I think that's a meme.
Are looking at voting for the Conservative. I don't know, mate, because some of the figures I caught something a couple of weeks ago, and it was quite high. It wasn't like a meme someone had posted. It came from some poll or something. And it was like looking at percentages and how people are going to vote. And I think a lot of young people will generally vote without a very liberal stance, whether it's Liberal Democrats or in Scotland, like the SNP, and obviously Labour as well in this country. So it's not this election that really worries me. It's future elections. If you see more of like people voting for Labour in this election, it's going to be the following elections where you're going to see more Labour increase their chances of getting in, because eventually that's going to happen if you've got a demographic which is looking at a kind of a lefty socialist kind of answer to their problems.
If I may, lads, as coming from someone that is very firmly in the no political solutions camp, who I don't think that particularly that elections are going to make a great deal of difference, and that we lost our essentially we lost the power to do that, or the power to have that kind of impact quite some time ago. Some might argue that we never had it to begin with. However, I'm far more concerned less about the elections, because I don't really see it as a viable way for us to proceed. However, what I am concerned about, or what I am interested in rather, is how do we use this to our advantage? Right, regardless of what the turnout is and what the voting is, etc. How do we use this election, this process, to basically bolster our numbers and to put forward our ideas and basically try and gain a bit of ground? So
Yeah,
I'll
I've
leave
got
that
a few
one open to
points.
the panel.
Yeah, I think what you can look at is the trends of the election, and one of the biggest trends is, of course, Corbyn and anti-Semitism. And now I'm sure all of you lads will be aware. You'll see, from what I can tell, people are starting to crack in the Labour Party, and by people I mean just your average voter and the rank and file, because people post these sort of Illuminati, New World Order conspiracies, bankers, etc. all the time. That's old hat. Like most people who have been around the block are sort of wise to that thing, with that sort of thing. So with the whole narrative of it being anti-Semitic, and you've got all these people essentially threatening to leave the country if Corbyn becomes prime minister, I think that really plays into our hands, really. We don't even need to do anything. We just need to sit back and let these things unfold. I'm a firm believer that what's happening right now really is changing a lot of people's minds. And perhaps not right now, but it's planting those seeds, and it's making people question what's really going on. Because, of all the things in this election, why on earth is it about this anti-Semitism bullshit? And when you dig deep into that issue, what is the actual anti-Semitism that they're complaining about? Is it that they refuse to adopt this, what was it, the international human rights, blah, 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 about some kind of anti-Semitism definition? It's crazy. So people are starting to get wise to that. So I think that's one thing people can be quite happy with. And not only that, you've got the new Brexit phenomenon. People threatening to leave if Boris Johnson becomes prime minister. So yeah, I think a lot of people are sort of overplaying the hand, and the mask is starting to slip. And I think we've just got to guide people in the right direction and make sure they're not going to the likes of Tommy Robinson.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh, wicked. Sorry, over to you, Jackson. My bad.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good point, especially about them overplaying their hand, because this is exactly what we saw happen with Donald Trump. All of these people saying that they were going to fuck off if Trump got elected, and of course none of them actually did. But I think the way sort of forward is, excuse me, I think even if we do get our hard Brexit, which I don't think we are going to get, if we do get Johnson as prime minister and a new Conservative majority and all of that, I genuinely don't think enough is going to change. And I think a sort of low turnout is going to be as good as people rocking up to vote in some ways, because, it's coming to the sort of point now. I don't believe there's no such thing as a political solution, but at the moment there isn't. We do not have a single party that actually represents us,
Well, I think that's why we should
100%.
be pushing the spoilt ballot, because it is a solution for the no political solution. I mean, you imagine if you could get the spoilt ballot numbers up to like double figures percentage wise. Could you imagine that would really make some that would really start getting these MPs sitting up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it would be. Although then again, without something sort of tangible to back it up, because I mean, if you remember from the 90s, all of the protest votes from the BNP, nothing really happened. There was quite a big groundswell, and the way the sort of first past.
Well, something did happen, didn't it? UKIP happened as a result of that. It does. These things do gain a reaction, don't they?
Yeah, but was that? Can you put that down to the BNP? Because UKIP still very, very one party policy.
Yeah, I think Farage is actually quoted as saying that he created that he wanted the BNP to destroy the UKIP to destroy the BNP vote, didn't he?
He did say that, but that was just spin. That's the sort of it's the tactical boomerism, as they say. It's like, oh yeah, guys, I destroyed the BNP, guys. I'm totally not racist. Like, if it wasn't for me, the BNP would be doing great. I'm totally not racist. But you got to give him his dues. You got to give him his dues.
Yeah.
You've got to give him his dues. What?
Yeah, and he can take him with him.
Sorry, lads. Huh? Anyway, but yeah, I like the ideas that are going around so far. I must admit, I do. Because me and a great deal of other people, regardless of whether you think we're correct or not, do not have a great faith in politics. And I think that, just look, turn up, spoil your ballot, draw a cock on it, write a poem, do whatever you want. But just telling people to get out and just make a mark. Make a mark. Okay, so you don't think it's going to work. All right. Could you just help us out?
Just do it
getting
anyway.
somewhere. It means you're apolitical. You're not having to participate. You're just going in, calling someone a dickhead on your ballot form, and then like going to the pub.
And also
really
you don't have to
I
listen
agree.
to that. Also, you don't have to listen to that smug twat that says, "Well, you didn't vote. You can't blame you. It's not. You can't blame anyone because you can say you did vote. You went in there and you voted.
No, you didn't vote, but you did cast a ballot.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. Well, oh yeah, you voted, you lost. Actually, I didn't. I cast a ballot, but I didn't vote. Fuck you.
No, I have
Exactly.
no faith in the system, mate. I have no faith in the political system. If you look back on history, and if you really look into it, it's been bullshit from the fucking get-go. Really, the two-party system in this country has gone on for far too long. There is no political solution. That's why people turn to other alternatives and other options that have been prevalent in the past, because they are more of an option than we've ever had in decades.
What did we
So-
reckon, lads? I'm going to throw an idea into chat. Obviously, I'd like the chat to comment on this as well, because obviously, many minds make light work. In terms of, say, going to your local polling station on the day of the election with like a clipboard, right? Or maybe put on a suit or something, or not, and just stand at the front and say, "Excuse me, have you considered voting none of the above?" Actually, asking politely, saying, "Look, it's probably not going to change a great deal, but if you spoil your ballot, then you might send a message."
Can you do that though?
I don't know. I know that
I think
YouKipper has
you'd
got
be
something to say on that.
probably asking for trouble.
What I was going to say, as far as that goes, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to, because all the parties have tellers out, and they're usually out there. But as long as you don't have any signage, I think. So you're not there with rosettes and big vote Labour signs. I think you're entitled to ask people questions. But also, what I did want to say in terms of voting and spoiling your ballot, and there being no political solution, I guess. In terms of a general election, I tend to agree that it isn't a political solution, because it almost seems pointless who you're voting for, because how's one person going to represent you in London anyway? So it seems very sort of disconnected and futile. However, when it comes to local voting and local elections and your local council, that actually is quite important. And not only that, people have actually been able to affect and influence that in our circles and in other circles. So what I would say is check out your actual candidates that are standing. So don't just look at it from a party perspective. Actually look up the person. You might have a Labour candidate who's actually a pretty sound chap. You might have a Tory who's a pretty sound chap. You might even have them, right? Not a Lib Dem, but the point I'm trying to make is that I've got a Brexit candidate who's a stand-up chap. He's ex-forces. He does loads of shit for the community. And him and the Brexit Party in my constituency are going around being tidying places up, they're making it nice, they've opened the shop, they're handing out free merchandise, and you know what? They have no representation in this town, on the council, nothing, and yet they're out there and they're doing things. And I was thinking to myself, well, ultimately it doesn't matter if that representation, if they're a group making where I live better, then all power to them. Why don't we do that? We don't need politics. We can make our country much better without voting for anyone. So take a note out of their book. They're just doing local activism and putting their place first. And they don't have any power representation at all. So we can take solace from that. We can do that. Why not?
See, I think the only problem you've got there is when you start to move to sort of proper conservatism, proper order, and that any activist group, whatever government you're going to be sort of standing against, the minute they see you as a threat, they're going to shut you down and they're going to fuck you off.
Call you right wing.
Yeah, if we went out tomorrow and did like what Casa Pound is doing in Italy, where they're doing like drives for the homeless and they're, sort of going out and they're engaging in a lot of charity works. They've already caught a load of shit off the media for it, but I think genuinely any government we've got at the moment would shut it down, which is why I would like, ideally a political buffer, some actual representation in government. Because
have you actually seen that video? Sorry, Jackson, on Casa Pound on the Channel 4 did.
I might have. I've seen a couple of like hit pieces calling them fascist hipsters.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's the one. But the thing is, I watched it the other day because I had seen it when it first came out. Actually, it's that they're basically slagging off people who are doing work for like you say, for the homeless and helping families out. It's like, look at these evil fascists, helping the homeless and
Golden
giving
Dawn do
food
that
to-
as well, don't
giving
they?
food.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, Golden Dawn.
That's what I mean.
I
That's
think
what I
it's a
mean. You're
story
looking at
for
and they go,
today.
"Oh, they're so evil, aren't they? These people." Yeah,
It is. I think it's
they try and do a hit piece.
piece, but I think they will just close it down. I think, yeah, without having some, actual governmental swing.
But what I would say in response to that is people shouldn't really affiliate themselves along sort of like political lines, so to speak. Just be a local action group. There's nothing like, you're just a group in your area full of, whoever, old people, young people, get the local school involved. These things don't have to be strictly nationalist, do they? All we need to do is be promoting a positive message in our communities. We need to be figureheads in our communities. And that's how people get voted onto councils. You see independents getting voted onto councils because they're well known in their local area. They're known by all the people on the estate. They're known by all the people on the block. So like I said, don't always paint yourself with nationalism. You don't need to. You just need to be projecting a positive image, and I'm sure you can always just put a religious image first. You can join your local church, and plenty of church groups do that sort of thing as well. So like I say, you don't always have to do these things strictly along nationalist lines. What we should always aim to be doing alongside promotional nationalism is actually making this a better place to live. And what's wrong with that?
No, there's
Absolutely
nothing wrong with
mate.
that.
I agree with that.
I agree with that to an extent, but then the problem that you're going to sort of have with it is if there's no sort of direction, and you're going to end up, if it is going to end up evolving. Because if you're looking sort of local community wise, then yeah, that's fine. And at that point, you might as well just join a left wing organisation if there's no sort of political stance to it at all. But yeah, the problem you've got there is if there's no sort of direction to it, and there's no sort of wider goal and wider frame of we're doing it to make our country better, which is essentially the core of nationalism anyway. I think it's quite easy to become co-opted. It's quite easy to end up with left-wing infiltration, certain other groups that are going to try and co-opt it as their own. And then you'll have to come to the point where you end up sort of pushed with people. There's no sort of dividing line between you and people that you don't want to associate with. I don't want to associate with fucking communists. I'm not going to, go out and hand out fucking bread next to a communist. They can get fucked. I'll do it on my own. But if it's a group of nationalist lads or fascist lads saying, right, we're going to go out, we're going to do good things out of the good of our heart, but we're going to do it with a sort of mindset of, we're looking after our people here. And that's one of the things that Casa Pound, I think it was Casa Pound, it was either them or Golden Dawn, that got a load of shit from the media for, is because all of the meals that they were handing out to the homeless contained pork.
But is this
mate.
literally right-wing bacon sarnie squads?
This
is what this has descended into. Fuck it.
Yeah, but this is what it. Yeah, but this is what it was. I mean, but the thing is, couldn't you technically have like a middle ground? I mean, if you're going to have a political party that's saying, "Well, we're fascists, we're going to go out," you're going to get a lot of shit for it, and I think to a degree you're going to get shut down. But I think you can always have a nationalist stance, to start off with, and have in the beginning have this kind of we're nationalists, but don't really come out of any ideologies, just solely work on the premise of helping the homeless, but being in that corner. Because I can see both YouKipper's point and Jackson's point when it comes to this argument. It's both good points, to be honest.
I think you're onto something there, Mosley, because what you could do is you could just do the outreach work, and then eventually what you do is you just kind of let the politics creep out.
Yep, exactly. That's what I mean. Yep. Yeah. Pretty much. Yep. You said it better than I did. Yep.
Yeah, I've got to concede to Jackson. I mean, you are spot on there, but I'm coming from a perspective that I remember when Generation Identity started over here, and they were infiltrated by Hope Not Hate from the get-go. So my stance is you can't really have a sort of this outwardly nationalist group. I'd love to have a Casa Pound or a Golden Dawn, but I see that Hope Not Hate are on the ball. They've got so much money that they're on these things from the get-go that I'm like, well, it seems futile. However, as Mozzie just said, you can play it this way. What I would say is that in essence, what you've just outlined is the Brexit Party, because we know the Brexit Party is cringe. It's, it's embarrassing, the stuff they put out. It's the sort of rhetoric that makes your skin crawl. However, who was voting for them? They're the sort of the people that our people are voting for the Brexit Party, and they're voting for Brexit. So rather than being, outwardly nationalist, just be outwardly Brexit, and that's acceptable, and that puts off all the right people as well. So I suppose in a way, we should be utilising Brexit in that way, in a way that it sort of divides people between the people who love this country or hate this country. And then, of course, you have Brexiteers who are completely cooked and will turn on you straight away. However, they're in the minority. Not only that, they're not going to be helping out in any case. So, yeah, I think we should latch on to Brexit as far as things go. And not only that, just take a look at your local Brexit Party constituency group. See what they're doing, and you'll see there'll be some old people and like maybe the odd couple, and that's about it. And those are the kind of people that we can lead. So we need to be taking control of Brexit, as I said. We need to take back control.
Do you think that the problem with this country is we've never really had a right-wing party? If you look at Italy, I know there's the argument about fascism being the third position, whatever, but I'm talking about a nationalist party. I should rephrase that. And the problem is we've had, Mussolini in Italy, you had obviously Uncle Adolf in Germany, and various other parties, whereas in this country it's just been conservative is the furthest we've gone right.
Well, there was Mosleyism for a while. I mean, wasn't he Labour for a bit?
He was conservative. Conservatives he started on.
I think it was around 1918 he was Labour.
He joined the Conservative Party to start off with.
Yeah.
No, was it Conservative?
Yeah, Conservative, then he crossed the floor to Labour, then he founded the New Party, and then the New Party became the British Union of Fascists, and then the British Union of Fascists became British Union.
How did I fucking know that you'd know that? How did I? I was just about to say. I know a little bit about. Hang on, UKippers in the chat. Okay.
Mostly you've embarrassed yourself and you've embarrassed the movement.
I was just going to say, who's the one that does Mosley on a Monday on Twitter? I always enjoy.
Me.
Yeah, I always enjoy those things. I don't know much about Mosley, but he seems an all right chap.
That's all right. If I may, I'm going to piss off everyone in this chat now, and in the
change there then.
No change. And I'm just going to come out.
It's been 52
minutes. I'll put a bit
minutes,
of a downer on this,
time.
but I think it needs to be said because I think it's with respect. I try and be a bit real and pragmatic. I'm not joining a fucking community group. Okay, I'm not doing it. It's a great idea. We can all say it's a really great idea that I'm not joining my local fucking church. They're arseholes. I'm not joining a community group because, again, if you get any traction whatsoever, you'll be helping people that will probably vote for our opponents. And the people that do that sort of thing, right, are the type of lefty liberals that want to give back to the community. Anyone who's already in a community group is already a right-wing community group with respect, is already doing it. They're either part of the Legion or some kind of more militaristic or conservative group, or else they're in some kind of lobby group or sort of a fundraising charity thing for rural pursuits or something. All right. Whilst I understand that also all of these everything that you're saying in a normal political realm would be absolutely great, sort of non-political partisan activities that you could do on the side that are essentially apolitical on the face of it. However, what I will say is that if you tried, as demonstrated by GI, by Casa Pound, I think NA even was giving out bacon sandwiches to the homeless or something, if I remember correctly, that if you pull a stunt like that with any kind of success whatsoever, you're getting subverted or destroyed instantly.
Did you go around popping people's balloons at kids' parties, Capstan?
Sorry?
I said,
I like popping balloons. No, I actually sit on the balloons first because you've got a bit more build up so they can see it getting crushed first and then pop. However,
crush like their dreams.
Exactly. It's just kind of look, kids, no, you're not going to be a fucking painter. You're going to have to work in a factory for 50 years.
No, you're not going to be a fucking astronaut.
To win.
To a German politician, and that works out in our favor.
I know it did. But,
do you know what my childhood dream was, though? And I've achieved it. Was to be a train driver.
Yeah, but
you-
a simulator
you
doesn't
go.
count, mate.
No. I've done it for real. It was a diesel electric locomotive, and I twiddled the nozzle and it went forwards, and I was like, "Oh, that's actually quite exciting."
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
So, with respect in terms of political action or of sort of apolitical action, I usually divert my efforts and I try and go less broad and far more directed. So, for example, if you've got a mate who in these circles, might need a bit of help because of his either financial situation or he wants to learn a new skill, or perhaps you want to sort out your fitness or your diet, skill sharing, funding businesses within our own circles and such like. And I hate to say, basically acting like the you-know-who's at this stage of the game, or the men with small hats, but essentially putting your time and money and resources less into the wider community that, with respect, are simply going to vote for those that they've already voted for, and instead of concentrating those resources to help out basically other like-minded people as in a very specific, controlled manner. For example, instead of going around forming a community group, why don't we all find a mate of ours or a friend of ours or someone we know and trust who would like to do something or would like help with something, and then give them help and advice and maybe a bit of funding to do whatever that is. Anyway, that's my piece.
No, that's a good idea. Like, obviously helping people as close to you. That's great, because that is what we need to do. In like you said, if your mate's got financial problems, can you help him out? That's definitely absolutely a real positive thing to do. But I like, back to my point, like saying about like groups like Casa Pound in Italy are very, not immensely successful, but they've made inroads. Whereas in this country, like I came back to, we've never had this kind of nationalist party where other countries have. And I think that's the biggest problem we face in this country, because the moment you talk about nationalism, the propaganda kicks in, then you start talking about Hitler, you start talking about the Second World War, and it's just fucking boring, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's like a repetitive cycle. But I think that's in Italy, France as well, Germany, there's been inroads from more nationalist parties, nationalist organizations. And I think that's the stumbling block we have in this country, is the fact we haven't got a precedent for it.
I think
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think also as well is we've got a very, very bizarre idea of what nationalism is. I mean, to us, well, not to us, but if you ask your sort of, your man on the street, your man in the pub, who name a solid English nationalist, and they're going to say fucking Tommy Robinson. I think the way nationalism is over here is it's so sort of myopic in that we've identified there is a solid problem with Islam and refugees, but we won't go any further whatsoever because of this whole, the whole sort of World War II thing. And so it's sort of whatever nationalism, civic or not, we do eventually have, we're just going to end up sort of hitting that ceiling. We're going to hit the fucking glass ceiling of not being able to actually look further and implement things a little bit further, because our nationalism, we seem to have just swallowed so much. We're basically, nationalism has been turned to doing the secular liberal left's job for them. Like, we're told now that our values are tolerance, freedom of religion, allowing gays to fucking fist each other. We've been told all of this is the core part of British identity, where we can have all of these balkanized groups that will have their own interests represented at the expense of ours. And
that's why I can't support Full Britain, because the lesbian that's in charge of it, she's basically just like, I don't want to be thrown off a roof and I still want to carry on drag queen story out. This is Britain. I'm like, no, jog on.
Yeah, that's not what we were fucking founded on. We were founded on kings, empires, and, like it or not, Christianity. I know I'm going to fucking trigger pagans and I'm not going to get into this shit again.
It's all right, your mate ain't in yet.
I was trying to convert them to Jesus Christ in the pub a few weeks ago.
Excellent. Bit of pub evangelism, can't go wrong.
Oh yeah, that's never going to go bad, isn't it, Hobbit? Fucking involving booze and religion. I can't possibly see how that might ever come to a fight.
I don't know. Last time we were in the pub, there was
once it's happened to me.
Next time you have pizza, I'm going to do a blessing on it, and I'm going to bless your beer.
I'm going to piss in your cider.
Yeah,
There's
well,
nothing you can do about it.
then I'm going to start reading Luke and be a cuck and love your enemies and turn the other cheek.
Did anyone see the Robinson video response?
I think I did. Was it the one in the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's shouting at the camera, basically because people are starting to notice.
You're on the internet.
The meltdown has
cuck.
been hilarious.
It was pathetic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was. Have
you seen the-
essentially get laid in cells for fucking 2 minutes? And Israel, what's his name? Yisrael fucking Shalom.
Yeah.
He's as British as you. He's as English as you or me. He's not like Mohammed.
He's as British as chicken tikka masala.
Yeah. It's practically that, yeah.
Can I just chime back in on when we're talking about nationalism in this country? Because I think one thing that does tend to get maybe not overlooked, but that we're not considering from the picture is that we have this stupid Scottish and Welsh nationalism to deal with as well. And a lot of people call like the SNP a nationalist party. You know, obviously they're not, but people somehow now they've almost painted nationalism as in a way because they're pretty much one of the worst parties in the country. But yeah, we've got to consider that you know. Why we've got British nationalism, but and you said who's an English nationalist? Well, is there even a concept of English nationalism? Because it's always been Britain, whereas in Scotland and Wales, you then have figures who are for those countries. But then, as you said, there is no English nationalists at all.
Do you think it's because we've never needed
No,
it?
that's true.
We haven't needed national. You know, it was always like taken for granted that you were a nationalist. You know, it was something you never had to verbalise as a Brit, wasn't it?
I mean, I can understand something like Germany and Italy having nationalism because they've only been recent countries. So there's like a thing of yeah, we're definitely a nation. Poland's very strong with its independence marches. And I think it's these countries which have only been recently nations. That's why they got a strong sense of patriotism, whereas in us it's so inherent that we've forgotten what it is to be English. And that's the whole purpose in shows like this.
I can't believe I'm actually having to listen to a Belgian tell me what it's like to forget being English. When did it ever come to this?
Sometimes you need the foreigner's perspective in order to have an objective opinion on oneself. You can't see the wood for the trees, Capstan.
Oh, mate, I just
We need
never
the
knew.
we need the stranger's perspective.
I think he's. I think Hobbit's right though. I think that's a real spot on point about the nationalism thing. That's pretty good. I agree with that. I think people in this country have lost who they are because they've been warped by internationalism, globalism, whatever you want to fucking call it. And they've lost this sense of identity. And I think I agree with Hemi as well. In the past, we didn't need to be told we were nationalists. It was just like basically that you just were. You love your country. You do anything for it.
Well,
and you put your country and your countrymen.
Don't forget that the Tories are actually the Conservative and Unionist party. And I suppose that maybe plays into it that they're the Unionist party. And so, I guess that maybe that's something to consider, that they've sort of filled that void in a sense that they're the sort of protectors of the union, if you will.
Yeah, no, I said it's all interesting points. It's all something to consider. But yeah, it's one of the reasons that I really don't put much faith and trust in sort of the general public anymore, or I never really did, to be quite honest. But it's one of the reasons I just try and put my efforts in towards sort of helping other sort of like-minded folks sort of achieve a proactive goal that is going to help them in the long run. And might even help a few other people, with a knock-on effect. Teach a man to fish, etc. But so moving on from that point, because I think we've done that to death. Hemi, have we got anything else in the stack that you'd like to cover?
I'm sure we can find something amusing. Right. Oh, did you see about the banana that was taped to a wall, which sold for 120k?
Can we just admit now that, yes, we're money laundering, this is money laundering and we're getting away with it, ha ha ha.
Honestly, if I never ever need to make 50 grand disappear, can someone just like tape an apple to a chair or something? So I can like, honestly, it's the single greatest.
That's
greatest
not the
way.
end of it. The bloke ate it afterwards.
Yeah, that's right. I did see that.
Oh, have you seen the latest edition happening in this story? I'm just thinking all of this is some cringy, like, art piece. So now they put the banana back, and then they wrote on the wall, Epstein didn't kill himself.
Speaking of Epstein didn't kill himself. Did you know his longtime banker friend didn't kill himself either?
Was that the one that accidentally had a helicopter crash?
No, found death from hanging.
No, that was another
This
one.
must be another one of his friends who absolutely didn't kill himself.
Yeah, 2 or 3 of them have just suddenly decided
Not
to,
killed themselves.
you know, die.
Do we know what's happened to Ghislaine Maxwell?
Ghislaine. No, Ghislaine has gone into hiding. Ghislaine who? Who are you talking about? Nobody knows who Ghislaine Maxwell is.
The one who sorts
yeah.
out the nonsense for him.
No,
Yeah,
you didn't get... The joke was Jackson's nobody is talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, are they?
Was it? I don't know. So I've fucking completely missed.
Yeah,
that bit.
it's like she doesn't exist at all for anybody.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, I just had a hallucination that Ghislaine Maxwell was a name.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
So,
Oh, dear.
Yeah, she's probably not going to kill herself either.
I don't think she is, because I think she's the real Mossad.
I'm
Has
just waiting for
anybody-
the. So I'm just waiting for the Queen to take Prince Andrew on a little drive through a Paris tunnel. That's what I'm waiting.
Prince Philip's going to dust off the Uno, isn't he?
let's go for a drive, Andy.
Oh, did you guys hear about a lady called Holly Cheeseman? Hold on a sec, I'll just chuck this in.
I was just thinking, I used to know a girl in school with a surname Cheeseman, so that is a real name.
Yeah, have a look at that. Well, it used to be Gareth Cheeseman was a character by Steve Coogan, wasn't it? Yeah, she's a honey trap robber. Look at the fucking honey trap. That's a honey trap.
Oh God, fucking hell! What kind of bee is in that fucking hive? Jesus,
That's a fucking
Christ.
lard trap.
Still not as bad as that woman you ever went.
Yes, honey trap.
Honey trap.
Honey
I mean,
trap.
honey.
Honey.
Lard trap. Fucking hell. I mean, I'm just starting to think maybe it's just a trap. Fucking.
Just a trap. Traps a gag.
Guys, guys, no, there is a way to tell the difference. If you suspect someone of being a ladyboy and you want to find out without having to look or grab.
Yeah, I know. I've seen Crocodile Dundee.
What?
Oh Jesus! Does nobody get that
thing
joke?
where there's this thing which men can do. There's a thing which women can do which men can't do, and it's to do with centre of gravity and the pelvis. So I'll have to show you the video because it explains it better. But effectively, it's men and women. You sort of try and stand up from a certain position, and men can't do it, whereas women can. So if you see a ladyboy, then just ask her to stand near a wall, bend over, hold a chair to her chest, and stand up. If she can do it, she's a lady. If she can't, ladyboy.
Have you,
So I shall read that. I shall read the bullet points about Holly Cheeseman and let me know if you want me to read the rest. Holly Cheeseman lured men back to her flat in Herne Bay, Kent, promising sex. She would undress victims before her boyfriend ambushed them with a knife. Pregnant drug addict Cheeseman is due to give birth during her 6-year sentence.
Oh my classy.
Grief, just saying I'd smash that for a laugh. And it's like, you do realise that no sex was happening. It was just a trap. It was a lie. She made it all up.
Mate, if that come in undressed in front of me and some fucking big nagoo with a knife jumped out, I'd think I've got off lucky, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I'll take beating or sex. Do you reckon that's the choice? They go beating or sex, then would takes the beating.
Yep.
Death by Mal Mal.
Death Is that Futurama in it, Hobbit?
No, that's from League of Gentlemen.
Oh, is it? What was the win in when they went to the Amazon planet?
That's Death by Snoo Snoo.
Snoo.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's essentially the same joke, just repurposed. It's always fucking funny.
Oh, has anyone heard the lyrics to Liam Payne's new song from One Direction?
One Direction's still a thing?
Yeah, no, they're all split up now. They're all doing solo projects. But
Are you a big fan?
these are words from Liam Payne's new song, Both Ways. My girl loves the muff, even when I've had enough. She addicted, she caught the bug. Her head is in the rug. Both ways, yeah. She loves it both ways, yay. Can I get a whoop?
You know, I can imagine this guy being a granddad, and then when his grandson's going up, it's like, Granddad, it used to be a singer. Oh yes, let me tell you, little Adrian. No, hang on, his name won't be here. Let me tell you, little Jacarius. Here's one of my songs. It's called, what was it called again?
Both Ways.
Yeah, so he's just an 8-year-old codger, and he's got his little quadroon Sargon sitting on his lap, going, "Oh, Granddad, sing us one of your songs. You can't."
Oh, fucking hell. This is the thing. I've literally just gone onto the comments of that fucking article with the woman, and literally there's this bloke called Countryside Dweller that has written, "What did she lure them in with? Biscuits." Fucking beautiful. I couldn't agree more, Countryside Dweller. I couldn't agree more. Anyway, so what other crap have you managed to source from the internet today?
There's a child porn pervert who was let off by Judge Peter Bowers, who praised courage of burglar. So this guy's obviously...
is this the judge who were like, it was really brave of you to break into that bloke's house?
Yeah,
has let a nonce go for his second offence.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh, mate, because whoever's got, is Jackson. Could you do me a favour and put this lad's name on the list, please?
Go on.
Yeah.
Dr. John Bird. Oh no, sorry, that's people abusing. Who's this judge? What's this clown judge's name? Judge Peter Bowers. But yeah.
Oh, hang on, I've just got the article. Is that the one from the Mirror? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does his face look familiar?
I don't know. He looks like Boogie, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, fuck it. Oh Jesus Christ.
Why have I seen his face before?
He looks like Boogie 2988.
Is he a mate of yours, Hobbit?
Oh yeah, is he the one that did a Mountain Dew and Doritos smoothie?
No, he's the one that
fucking hell,
did
Hobbit.
Kids.
You know when we went to the pub and your mate came along.
Oh, with the one beginning with D or N?
No, neither of them. The other bloke when we went out in that town beginning with W.
I
just realised.
Oh, that's cruel.
No,
yeah, that's where you recognise it.
Oh shit! Yeah, I was just gonna say he's giving me off Dungeons and Dragons vibes for some reason. Oh no! He's put on a lot of weight.
Oh God! Grief saying YouTube recommended him Ed Sheeran featuring Stormzy earlier. Oh, Matt Heimbach. Matt Heimbach, Throat Grim says. He looks like Matt Heimbach.
He fucking does as well. Ooh.
Yeah, there's quite a few looky likeys there, aren't there?
Is he Welsh?
Dunno. What's this? You seen this one from the Liverpool Echo? Poor starving mum of 9 only gets £480 a month on Universal Credit.
My heart bleeds.
Who's ranting first?
Is that the one who's she's putting her children up for sponsorship so you can sponsor to give them money?
I have no idea. It's there's the story.
Are we seriously into for just £2 a month? You can keep Chardonnay in Greg's and Marlboro Lights. Is that where we are now? Have we actually reached peak fuckery?
I think this is yeah, we were talking about this at work. Yeah, and it's just like, what benefit do we get from it? It's like, I don't know, the satisfaction that you've put a sausage roll on their plate.
Fucking hell. Listen to this. Ryan Rogers, 26, and his partner Jenny Grimes, 25. So they used to receive £2,100 a month in financial support, but the introduction of the benefit cap has left their finances decimated. It's like as if either of those two fuckers would earn that kind of money in Capson's libertarian state.
I tell you what, the fact that he's 26 years old and he's already got, what is it, 9 children?
Yeah.
9 children. Wow, he's been busy.
I love how all of you fucking nationalists and nat socks and authoritarians, and the minute that you have to read about how much they get in bennies, and suddenly everyone's a libertarian, everyone wants to live in Kapistan, no one wants a government then. It's all funny when that
eat
happens.
their children under your fucking government, and that they'd be legally allowed to eat their children. No, I discussed this one last night, and we said about the fucking benefit system, the way the shit's sort of going with it. If we didn't have all the foreigners doing this, we would actually be able to have a little bit more leeway with this kind of thing, because you need to find the point where you're getting white people to breed. And even if you're earning fucking 40 grand a year, you are going to struggle with, 7, 8 kids. You know, they're not fucking cheap.
Yeah, but come on, at the same time, there's a difference between getting white people to breed and getting, white pikeys to breed. You know, there's a very big difference. I mean, it's going to start a whole other meme of astronauts, rocket scientists, and engineers all over again. I honestly don't think that, destiny is really cut out for it. If I'm quite honest.
Have you seen Idiocracy, where they show the intelligent, high-earning couple and they've got no kids, and then they got the other couple and he's got 26 grandchildren? I'm just looking at a photograph here of the lovely couple, and they do look lovely on the beach. And he's got such a nice smile, that guy. I would too if I was shagging that much.
Nice tattoos on. I just got just tattoos on the neck. Just signifies I don't want a job. That's what it does to me.
The tattoos on the neck, you go to the tattoo parlor. It's like, yeah, I'm looking for a life on benefits with no job prospects. I'll say no more, fam.
Can I suggest a neck tattoo, sir?
Yes. Say no more. I know exactly what you need.
Celia Sonners said, good drop of spunk in the lad, fair play. Oh dear! Oh no! Back to the. Hold on, 1 second. Just back to the honey trap. Someone said hamburglar. Yeah. Oh dear, man.
She's got a weave. Oh yeah, I suppose she has. I mean, it looks like she's got a comb over. You see the sort of strands of hair they just plastered over her forehead.
She's gone for a Bobby Charlton, and I think she's receding a bit.
Yeah,
old girl.
I think you took the words out of my mouth there, mate. Bobby Charlton.
Well, to be fair, with 9 screaming kids, you're not going to have many nights for sleep. Maybe a bit of her hair has fallen out over those 25 years.
Oh, I think we've got the names here. Ryan and Jenny, previously from Kirby, look after Ellie, 7, 6-year-old twins Kenzie and Kelsey, Lacey, spelled Laysie, 4, Archie, 2 twin boys are only 7 months, Toby, spelt Tobie, and Riley, Ryle. What the fuck are those names?
You mean Toby?
Toby. To be or not to be.
You see, if I was going to invest in them and therefore have shares in their family, I would insist on a name change and a rebranding.
There's some pretty good. Give them their dues. There's some pretty Aryan-looking kids. There's a lot of blonde hair there, isn't there?
Yeah, this guy's single-handedly going to populate the ethno state, man. Don't give him due.
He's got a nice little white bastion there. They're currently living in a 3-bedroom property in North Liverpool, paying £675 for rent.
I'll tell you now, he's white, but his grandchildren fucking won't be.
I don't know. He's living in Liverpool. Liverpool's 80% white, isn't it? Because even the blacks won't live there.
Anyway, it's not your fault you're a knick-knock, is it?
Now you need the brain chill jingle.
Honestly, if you keep fucking playing those drops, right, someone is just going to charge you with 8 accounts of terrorism.
Capstan.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Capstan.
That's all I'm saying.
I've had some good burgers in my time. I love a good melted Swiss cheese and
Can we kick
roasted
our
mushrooms
host?
and caramelized onions on a burger. That is hot stuff. You can get that at a number of
Many
different
different
places.
So chat, if I were to start my own channel called Anti-Hemmingford Action, how many of you would subscribe? Just give me like a
Everyone
ballpark
loves
figure.
all right, then. Hold on. All right, the Spencer clip of the burger. It's S to spit or F for keep it.
Oh, are we going to do the burger posting now?
Oh, did you? Okay, were you going to do some burger? Why is Richard Spencer wrong about burgers, Hobbit?
Right, so there's no bacon, and what's the point of melted Swiss cheese? It's just processed cheese with holes in it. I mean, why didn't he actually mention a proper continental cheese if he's trying to be all poncy? Why didn't he say Emmental or Gruyere? And roasted mushrooms. Nobody can properly roast mushrooms. I've had mushrooms done properly 3 times in my life.
Oh, it's equal at the moment. We have 1 S and 1 F.
Come on, everybody. Down with Spencer. Down with Spencer.
It's still neck and neck.
Spencer.
It's still neck and neck.
I've got to admit, I'm saying here that Spencer has terrible taste in burgers. I mean, what's wrong with just
Chat's revolting. Even my own hosts are revolting against me.
You got your beef burger, you've got the bacon, you've got cheese, and you've got an egg, and then you've got mustard, red and yellow, mustard and ketchup.
What's wrong with bacon?
Well, no, I'm saying
that's what he says.
that's
what he's missing. Bacon, according to Hobbit.
Yeah, bacon burger. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The bacon cheeseburger is like the ideal white man food because if you think about it, Hindus can't touch it, Muslims won't touch it, and Jews won't touch it.
Yeah, good point.
Oh no, the Spencer clip's getting no love.
No, because it's long and like Spencer, it's overstayed its welcome.
Oh, Oliver Twist says you need blue cheese. How about blue cheese, Hobbit? Bit of Stilton's based in Albionic, isn't it?
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like blue cheese, but on a burger, it's going to mask the taste of everything else.
Nah, not blue cheese for me, mate.
What about blue cheese with some figs and grapes and celery?
Nah, don't do blue cheese.
Do you not? Do you actually not do blue cheese?
No, I'm not a big fan of cheese.
Oh, you heathen! How?
I am, mate. I am.
What are you, lactose intolerant like an Asian? Ugh.
No, I'm not lactose intolerant. No, it's
physical disgust emanating from this video call right now.
Grub's broken ancestor cry.
I apologise for my.
You should, you horrible man. Honestly, there's no amount of Hail Marys that's going to save you from that predicament.
Mostly.
Anyway, it's not your fault you're a knick-knock, is it?
Oh, Distant Thought in the chat. He says gherkins and jalapenos, then we can start talking. I haven't really considered.
Yeah, start talking about your deportation. You sick bastard.
The thing is, when it comes to a burger, vegetables are purely optional, but I do like pickled gherkin. But anyway, so what do you guys take on what a decent burger should comprise of?
I think it's got to have the mushroom and the caramelised onion. And that's hot stuff, and you can get it from many places.
I do like fried onion in a burger.
How about caramelised onion, or is that just Ponzi fried onion?
That is Ponzi fried onion.
Yeah, but it is quite nice. You can't lie.
Yeah, but isn't that basically what fried onion is, though?
the thing is, if you're having a burger from a burger van, like a proper man should, you're not going to be like, "Oh, hello, dear. Do you mind like spending the next 25 minutes caramelizing those onions instead of just frying them?"
Yeah, but it's like, this is the point. Real blokes don't go to burger vans and order burgers. They go to a burger van and get a bacon sandwich because this is England. This is England.
Bacon sarnie, mate.
Those
sarnie.
burgers, they're always
Can't
suspect
stand
quality anyway, aren't they? You can't go wrong with a bit of bacon, can you? And you can with a sausage and a burger.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you can go wrong with dodgy bacon, mate. Believe me.
Yeah, but
The,
wrong
the British
bacon.
family-
Oh, lads, is it, what sauce? What sauce?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck is that? Mud sauce?
No,
What sauce?
Mud sauce. I was about to say it's not that grim up in the north of England, mate.
Oh,
I
we've
don't
got
care how
it.
bad it is. Mud sauce. Fuck off.
This is the for brown sauce, is it?
So is it red sauce or brown sauce?
I'm in red gang personally, like red all the way.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, red sauce gang.
Brown sauce.
If
Then
it's
again, I
all-
often find that the better the bread and the bacon is, the less red sauce I need.
yeah.
That's sort of. I think that's a good rule. If I don't put any
Yeah,
sauce
it's
on it, it's good.
It's the quality of the bread. It's paramount to how good the sandwich or
If
or
I'm
whatever you have.
if I'm having a bacon butty, then I'll go with brown sauce. If I'm having a bacon cheeseburger, then it's red sauce. But the burger van I like around me, she will do black pudding, so I can have burger with black pudding, and I have brown sauce on that. And that's good. That is hot stuff.
That is hot stuff.
I'm salivating.
Can you get that
I'm
many different
salivating
places?
for it. Guys, I need to AFK for a bit. The fire's got to temperature. I'm going to do some crumpets.
Cool. Jackson's buggered off for dinner as well. So, Hemi, I think this might be a real like apt time in the show to actually speak to our special guest about maybe some issues that he wants. Go
on then, Captain, take it
You know.
away.
Oh, you bastard! Right, okay. So in that case, then
You're not doing anything topical whilst I'm AFK. You can ask him about burgers.
No,
No,
we're
we're
not, mate. It's fine. you crack on with your crumpets, mate, in this little comfy stream that we got going. Right, okay. So YouKipper, I don't know if you really want to go into it, but I figured now's a sort of we're dropping guests like flies for crumpets and beer. So I figured that this is the point in the show that if you want to talk about sort of what you're doing with your sort of current work-wise in terms of your content or direction you're going into, or any political ambitions or non-political ambitions that you have, the floor is yours, mate. What can we do for you? What are you up to?
Well, I think at the minute things do seem to be a bit stagnant on our side. I mean, you wouldn't really know there was an election going on. It's things are a bit quiet. I mean, personally, I need to I haven't had a video out for a while because my laptop broke, and not only that, YouTube closed down my channel, and I'm stupid enough not to have backed up the videos onto something other than my laptop. So I had to put an appeal out for other people to send me my videos, which was bizarre.
Mate. So are you actually having to go onto like PewTube and BitChute and asking those knockoff archivists to like send you your own content? Oh, that's brutal. That is brutal.
The good thing about those websites is I can just grab them straight off, but it's the case of some videos I just don't know where they are. And like I keep getting, I did Paul Weller, the Jam, a video of England Rose, and for the life of us, I can't find the quality better than like this 360p, like pixelated, the fuck, just absolutely woeful video. I was like, if I put that on, people just think I'm taking the piss. So yeah, as far as things go, my long-term aim is I'm going to get a much better laptop. Actually, well, at the minute I'm on a pissy little netbook that doesn't do anything much with it. I need to invest in a laptop. I'll definitely be back on the videos, but I think as things stand, things do feel a bit still. I do take heart in what Laura and Mark are doing, and really, it's crazy seeing this because over the last year, I think Laura has done some really, really good work, and it's crazy that they've got this patriotic alternative coming out. So maybe in the future, I'd be more than willing to help them out with some stuff. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, I said I do empathise with your plight, being that I don't make videos, but in somewhere not related to this, I do music. I sort of write my own tunes in a band and such like, and I can really quite empathise with something that you've worked on and finished, and you can't find the fucking recording of it because you've misplaced it, and you're having to ask around, someone that you might have sent a demo to, can you send it back to me, please, because I've lost the fucking MP3. So I feel your pain in that regard, lad. I really do. It's a pain in the ass. I also feel quite guilty at this point in time. I never thought I would, considering that Laura Towler has been the butt of almost all of my political commentary jokes over the past sort of 2 months, just because she's been in chat. I feel really bad about it. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I usually just say it because I don't know how you probably haven't heard of me before, which is for the best. But I sort of jump onto Hemi's stream, and when he's got like a sore throat, a temperature, or when the missus isn't putting out, I sort of try and get a bit high energy. I try and big things up a bit. But for the most part, I just really make a twat of myself. Because I just, come on, and like my sense of humor is quite crude in some sense, but at the same time, I do think that it's funny when it's in the right place. The problem is my comedy timing, or my comic timing hasn't been on point, shall we say? Wayward. It's been a bit wayward. That's a good word. Thanks, mate. This sort of past few live streams, one might say.
Yeah, poor old Jackson had to nuke.
I was going to be doing like a thing with 8-bit on here about history that I'm still looking into, by the way, lad. We'll talk after this stream about that. That I was going to be doing there, that might have started off as a live stream and is now absolutely 100% getting pre-recorded. Like, without any doubt in my mind, just to stop me putting my fucking foot in it. So I feel quite bad that you're sitting there going, oh yeah, Mark and Laura really, really doing the good work, and there's me going, oh, all I do is call her a slag and say that he's a fed. Oh dear. Oh, this is annoying. I respect this lad, and he made some quite decent content. Oh no. Oh dear. So yeah, I'm fair play to them. At this stage, I feel so guilty. I might even vote for them if someone stands in my area. I've got to that stage of the game now. But so yeah, in terms of that, let's have a talk. Let's talk vaguely seriously about a sort of the why things are dead in these circles. Because obviously, I think people come and go. There's things that happen, things that don't. Obviously, people keep talking about 2016. We've got Brexit, we've got Trump, we've got a few sort of, I suppose, major tangible victories. I mean, Poll was on fire every other day with campaign after campaign, and etc. What do you think? We're just in a lull period because of political cycles? Do you think we're going to have to wait until like the mid-20s before we see anything again? Why is things so dead? Do you think?
Well, it's a good question, because I've been thinking about this a lot, and the thing about Brexit is, and I see it every day, like even people who voted for Brexit, who were well on board in 2016 when it was all the 4chan memes and all the sort of Nigel Farage and just all that stuff. But now they're completely jaded by it. They think it's pointless. Some people even think, well, hang on, it might actually be detrimental to the economy, and what do I actually stand to gain? Then you have the massive black pillars who are like, oh yeah, this is actually going to mean more third world immigration and less Europeans, so actually well done on making things worse. So I think, all in all, to be honest, Brexit sort of crushed our movement, but put wind in the sails of the normie movement. Like in America, you have Turning Point USA and all those groups who were sort of capitalized from Trump. Whereas here, who's really capitalized from Brexit? Well, UKIP died. They were on a sort of much better course than they would have been. And the Brexit Party are just that. They're not going to be around for a long time. So there's nothing really at the minute to get behind, and people try to get behind the Brexit Party, but it's just hard to convince anyone to seriously get behind them. So all in all, I think things are just a bit dead.
Is it just me, or is there something about like not a spirit of mediocrity. Maybe that's the wrong word, but there seems to be that anytime anything gains movement in this country, it gets caught in the quagmire, and it's almost like get killed on the vine.
Sabotage is a word I'd
Yeah,
use.
sabotage. That sounds right to me. I mean, Nigel Farage managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory on that fateful day. What was it? June the 23rd in, was it 2015?
Well, hadn't he declared it was all over and went to bed, didn't he? He said, "That's it, we're not winning," didn't he? Do you remember that?
Oh, that's a conspiracy theory that you said that for the boys in the city so they could like lump loads of money on while the pound like crashed and that or whatever.
Oh, he falls there in the chat. He says Farage killed the Brexit Party, and I'm thinking to myself, no, you got to wait a year before he says, "Oh, I'm leaving the Brexit Party. It's too racist. I'm going to form my own Brexit Party." I mean,
actually, in saying that, have you seen what the founder of the Brexit Party has been saying lately, Catherine Blakewell?
Oh, I thought Nigel Farage was the founder of
do actually have
No, she's the founder. It's this woman, but she was expelled for being racist, like after a month or something.
I do have a clip, but I haven't actually gone through it yet. I'll stick it in chat so you guys can have a copy. Yeah, I found this. I've had it in the stack for ages. I just haven't actually listened to it.
But I mean, this is the thing. When push comes to a shove, it starts off with "I love my country, I love England," and eventually, when you get annoyed by these journalists, it's like, I just don't like them.
That's very true, mate. That's
I think I don't know. Right, I think it's just because the reason that it's pretty dead is because our opponents have now learnt the correct countermeasures to an online movement. Back in 2016, there's a lot of things that you could get away with. Even then, that now you'd just be banned instantly. A lot of comment sections were still open. People were still quite a bit more receptive to memes. It wasn't. I distinctly remember it not being as how do I put this? Not being as all-encompassing. You could expand a lot more, get away with a bit more. And I think that with respect, all that's happened is that our opponents have learned out how to crush us. They've done massive amounts of reports about how we act, where we go, the sites that we use. I mean, they've already managed to shut 8chan down. I know a lot of other popular sites have been either severely reprimanded, where they've had to introduce content policies or such like. And I think that people, again, it's a combination of fatigue, a combination of countermeasures by our opponents, and quite frankly, I think that that the reason that it's going to be until, say, 2025 before anything else major kicks off is because it's going to take until the early 20s for some new tech and some new faces to come along, and then to basically learn how to use the tech. And then it's going to take them that long in order to develop a strategy to use the next thing. Pardon me. And then utilize that for pushing across a political message or an ideological message.
I think another thing
that's brilliant.
You first, YouKipper. Oh, okay. Then I'll just briefly say there's a lot of fair weather people who joined in and rode the elation, and then when they saw that the results weren't immediate, they went away. And the thing is, like, you can't expect this to be immediate. I mean, there was the thing called the Long March through the institutions, and that's taken what, decades, a century.
Yeah, exactly. You see this all the time at every election, right? Every single election, every single vote, without fail, we'll see it in a few days, that you get these people who hype themselves up and then they get massively disappointed with how it goes. You've got people on Twitter tweeting right now expecting Jeremy Corbyn to win in a landslide somehow, and then come election day, he's not going to win, and there's going to be endless amounts of soul. You see it every single time, and on both sides of the aisle, of course. I remember distinctly in the 2015 election, which was when Nigel Farage had his best chance of winning a seat in Thanet. And I remember I was posting on 4chan on the Britpol thread, And I was like, lads, I've got a feeling that UKIP aren't going to get any seats at all, not even Farage. And I remember people replying saying, nah, don't worry, lad, they're going to get 20, 30 seats maybe. Farage is going to smash it. And then what happened? Fucking nothing. So yeah, people really need to get invested in these things and take this very, very short-term approach, as you say, and then they get massively disappointed. You need to really look at it from a long-term perspective. And not only that, it was a great point you made about we need to wait a few years for some new technology and some new people to arise. Because that's the main thing you've got to consider in politics is all it takes is one man. You know, all you need is a Mosley, all you need is a Farage, all you need is a Tyndall, all you need is one bloke who can act as that lightning rod, and the rest is done. You just need that one communicator who hits the right notes, has the right policies, and is an honest, down-to-earth person. And people see that in Nigel Farage, whether you agree or not. Plenty of people see that. But what we need is a new person like that. So yeah, we just need to hope and pray that that right person comes along sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, mate.
I think that with respect, it's not just having one bloke. I know that a lot of people, they put a lot of faith into sort of large figureheads, but I've always been of the opinion it's the right bloke with the right people behind him at the right time. Like this,
but it's never going to be the right time at the moment because they'll just fucking take you out straight away. Anyone who gains any momentum.
Well, I don't think that that's quite true. Like this is the thing. When I say the right bloke with the right people at the right time, is that I don't. You know, for example, back in Germany, as many people know, the NSDAP were banned. They were banned outright for several years. Before they started getting any traction whatsoever. It wasn't like, oh yeah, it was like, oh yeah, it would have just got banned and shut down. Well, it did get banned. It did get shut down. They were targeted.
And yeah, I know.
I
know they were, but there's some intelligent people behind the scenes who absolutely, and I use this word.
Well, that's what Capston's saying.
Did. Yeah, but have we got someone who can do this in the current year? Because you're talking about almost a century later.
What do you mean we got Richard
obviously
Spencer?
when they form their.
If you play that fucking drop, I will drive to your house and beat the shit out of you.
No, don't. I've got a question for YouKipper because YouKipper introduced me to like Mosley. I mean, I am shamed that I didn't know hardly anything about politics of the 1930s up until recently. How did YouKipper? How did you get into finding into about nationalist figures like Mosley, Tyndall, etc.?
Well, I mean, I think with Mosley, the first thing I distinctly remember changing my mind, because I think for a lot of us, he's a figure that's maybe in the back of your mind, or you might have heard something, or you might have seen something. You definitely know there was sort of British equivalent to a Hitler, maybe someone, but he didn't really do much. And I remember I saw the Sparrow Patria videos where, well, just the iconic sort of those 4-minute videos of We Want Mosley or Britain Away, God True Britain, and all those ones. I remember watching those and thinking, wow, there was nothing there that I disagree with. And at the time, I was basically just a pretty normie UKIP, nationalist joke. I was kind of not watching it for a joke, but it was linked on, I think it might have been God Save Our Gracious Meme, which was like a sort of 4chan stronghold on Facebook where they had tens of thousands of likes on this page, which was run by a guy who was just a shit poster on Britpop. So he would post these normie memes, but then slip in ones about immigration and Nigel Farage and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember distinctly, I saw those videos, and from then on, I just did a bit of reading up. And anyone who does the slightest amount of reading about Mosley, with an open mind, of course, because if you're going in it from the mindset of I hate this guy, I'm going to read up some things about it to come to the conclusion that I want to. You've got a load of shitty news pieces and articles from the Guardian and the Independent that are basically just fluff. If you actually do some real reading, straight away you realise it was a pretty stand-up bloke. I mean, the fact that he crossed the floor from the Tories to the Labour Party basically tells you everything you need to know about the guy.
Yeah, he's a fucking traitor. Anyway, move back. No,
Controversial.
it's all good. It's all good. Sticking my foot in it. But in terms of Mosley, with respect, I know that some of my criticisms of him back in the day were fairly normy, and now I realise just how I've changed because my criticisms revolve around. What do you mean he was a fucking pan-Euro? What a faggot! Don't you fucking do that? And do you see what I mean? It's about the criticisms that you have of your figures. Be fair. It was, the 1930s, completely different paradigm, completely different country, completely different demographics that must be kept in mind. That it might as well have been another planet to the country and the environment that we inhabit now. But I often find that it's really funny about you can use basically historical figures or what you know about historical figures as a benchmark to see how much you've changed. So, like, for example, everyone had politics when they were 18, that I'm guessing was a little bit different to the politics that they have now. And you take a political figure or a figure that you used to like, and then compare them in the light of day from your current position. And so I guarantee it, your criticisms of them will be different to the ones that you had when you were like 18 or 17, etc. Like, I think it's a good benchmark.
If you said to my 18-year-old self that you'd have read literature on fascism and read Mein Kampf or something, I think I would have laughed my head off and told you to fuck off, and then gone and played on my computer or something. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with that. I think people tend to. I don't know who said it, but as people get older, they tend to get a bit more not right wing, but kind of more sensible in their political.
I think that's a Churchill quote, isn't it?
Something like I don't like to quote Churchill, but some things he did say. Yeah. I mean, he talks about democracy. He said the greatest argument against democracy is asking the average voter about
it's
politics.
It's a 5-minute conversation with your average pub goer.
That's pretty. Yeah, there you go. That's it.
But he also said democracy is the worst form of government, except we've tried all the others. I think if I was to talk to my 14-year-old self, I'd just say, that junior reading? He'd be like, yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it? Yeah. It's good that. You should form the basis of your beliefs and politics on that book. But this is just Machiavelli's The Prince. Yeah. There's a lot of like like a Machiavellian plot and things like that.
Machiavellian.
Yeah, I'm
Machiavellian.
I've never.
It's not
his
full caps. Then it's a
Machiavellian.
All right, okay, Mister. I know how to pronounce words. Do you want a fucking prize? Do you? Here's your morals.
Fight me right now, IRL.
I will arm wrestle you next time I see you. So yeah.
My first introduction to Mosley was that ITV miniseries, and I knew it was bullshit back then. When I was I don't even know how old I was.
Channel 4.
Still, though, I did find it quite funny.
I was convinced it was
I never
ITV.
thought that Rome Total War would form like the basis of my political ideology, and 100 books later, and here we are.
The ironic.
The thing is, people.
You first.
Carry on.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, you carry on, Matt. You carry on.
Okay, I'll just quickly.
No, after you, faggot, please.
I will quickly belt this one out, and then you can get to your point. Years. I mean, this was about 2002 when I first started doing conspiracy researching, and I was on a website, Jovialis. Jovialis. He's excuse me. I got to do the cough button.
People call Jovalis. They go the else.
So he's an investigative journalist. He did a lot of stuff about the Bali bombing, Lockerbie, and 9/11, and it was all basically just Jews did it. It's all the 4x2s. And then I listened to Alex Jones for a long time. It's like, no, it's Nazi death cults, and there's all these strange secret societies all rolling it from behind the scenes. And then, like, after a long time, like, reading stuff and come to various conclusions, I was like, there's probably a point to this. Excuse me, I'm trying to not burp on the radio. There's probably these guys are probably onto something. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, isn't it funny? Oh, look at all these people controlling pornography, the media, banking. Elon Musk did that tweet about them, which got them upset. And that's it. So, yeah, Mosley, you, it's your turn.
Okay, mate. Yeah, I think if you go and read literature. Like, I think you've got to go in with an open mind. YouKipper said these people will read about Mosley, for example, and they'll have this preconception, what they've read from the Guardian or from the Independent. I think if they actually sat down and picked up his book, the Greater Britain, I think it is one of them. I think if you sat down and read that, which was written in 1932, I think a lot of it is still prevalent, and you can use it in today's climate. Obviously, some of it is
there's a whole shitload of stuff. There's a whole shitload of stuff that applies today as much as it did back then, isn't there? Is like
that's what I mean.
All kinds of literature, aren't there?
That's what I mean. And and I think if you go into it and you look from an open perspective, I think sometimes you can get a lot more out of it than if you go and read something and go, right, I already made my mind up, because I think that's not going to help anybody. And I think you can learn a lot. You might actually take something from something you didn't actually think you could.
Well, me and Capstan have spoken many times. I mean, you could take. We should be taking a lot from Rules for Radicals, shouldn't we, Cappy?
Oh yeah, this is one of those. But then again, we should be taking inspiration from good ideas. I mean, fuck where the source material's from. I don't care if it was Karl Marx. I don't care whether it was Idi Amin. I don't care if it was Milton Friedman. If it's an idea that's good and we can make it work and it's decent, then then we need to be doing that. We need to be implementing that. So in terms of like Rules for Radicals, I don't care if Saul Alinsky was a dickhead. He was a subversive, unsavory type, should we say. But at the same time, it's not like his rules didn't work. They're absolutely they're grounded in reality. They're a solid battle plan for activists. And that is basically how the left won America. That's how they did it. I mean, you read some of these tactics, and they're absolutely on point. Things like keep it lighthearted, keep it fun, keep it interesting. Don't do the same tactic over and over again. Target people and not parties, etc. It's absolutely on point. And quite frankly, the fact that he's a lefty and we don't behave like that because we're above it. I'm not above it. Someone uses chemical warfare against you, you've got to use the same back.
Well, they did in World War I.
Just, for fuck's literally stop trying to get me charged with a hate crime. Right. But I was, that was a bad example. But if for example, if someone uses a tactic against you, you must be prepared to use it back. It's that simple. You can't get around it.
Well, it's like, because people get squeamish about people get squeamish about the mass reporting and stuff like that. If it works for them, it works for us. You might even get the tactic taken off the table if you can get it to cut both ways. They'll stop doing it.
No, I mean, by all means, you use your enemy's weapons against them. I mean, that's why the Romans with the legionaries, their javelins weren't just javelins; they were pila, and they were designed so that once they were thrown, they couldn't be picked up by the enemy and rethrown. But by all means, if you're not using the enemy's weapons against them, then you just pretty much you might as well just stick a surrender flag up your ass and then turn around to face Mecca.
Well, I mean, why are we trying to play by the Queensberry rules? This isn't boxing, and it isn't a fair fight.
No, I mean, it's not like our opponents have any honour to them, so why should we afford them that?
Yeah, exactly.
You see, this is my only criticism of Mosley in the 1930s was the fact that he thought they would play by the rules and the communists didn't play by the rules. They were fucking dirty bastards, and he thought they weren't going to play like that. And in the end, he had to fight fire with fire. And I don't think he was quite prepared for how vicious they were going to.
Yeah, I think following on from that, I'm fairly sure that. So I'm not sure whether I trust the source where I read it, but I'm fairly sure that from what I read, Mussolini pulled a lot of his funding for the BUF after what happened at Cable Street. Apparently, he wasn't impressed because he thought any actual fascist movement worth its salt wouldn't be standing down; they'd be taking the streets and they'd march, and not only that, they'd kick the commies out as well. God, but also that, as you say, he was too principled, and that's essentially why fascism doesn't work in Britain. Fascism doesn't really resonate with our people, and even Mosley couldn't bring himself to do it. And if he couldn't, then who is? These things, as he admitted, the alien to our people. We need something that resonates, and as we were saying earlier, we need to take leaf out the left's book. They've they play the blind as far as it goes culturally. And I'm not sure where I heard this, but it sounds very reasonable. I think it might have been Jordan Peterson who said it actually. But left wingers, they're sort of very they're so ideological that they'll sort of gravitate towards jobs where they have influence rather than money. Whereas right wingers who are smart, they gravitate more towards, being a CEO or being a business owner or whatever, making money. So they're not influencing the culture other than, lobbying people, which is not what we want. Whereas the lefties, they've took over the institutions and we've left the gate open for them. The schools, the universities. I can't think any institution that hasn't been completely taken over, even the army. So what the fuck? We need to take it back.
Yep, we do. That's exactly right. They've taken over every institution you can think of, and they've ingrained their ideology in that institution, and they've done it very, very cleverly. You can't argue with the facts, and the fact that we need to have a plan to try and somehow, like you say, take it back in some shape, manner, or form is an absolute must for us, to be honest. But we need to play by the way they play the game, and that is definitely not by the rules.
Again, I'm very much in favour of the gloves off approach. Look, they've made it quite clear what the status is. Right. Everyone knows this, but I'm just saying this just for posterity.
Go on then, do the Sam Hyde quote.
I'm not going to quote them. Fuck off, right? But the point is that everyone knows that the fact is we have where we are, have opponents. They have enemies. And we need to start changing the mindset. You don't have an opponent. These people are your enemy. They want to eradicate your bloodline, your culture, your country, your nation, and everything you hold dear. And I think it's about just changing the mindset. So it's when you get to the stage where we can't just do carbon copies of the left's tactics because they have countermeasures to them. Right, we need to essentially use their ideas and use those tactics and use these principles to basically build a new playbook, right, or a new machine, if you really will, perhaps for the people in this voice call.
Oh, so you've read some Mosley?
Oh no, me. What, you putting all of those little sly political references, mate? Who's Mosley?
I thought there was
that's like a brand of chips, isn't it, or something?
I just thought it was a serious song title, The New Machine. It's a pretty good workout song. I listened to that and there's other songs like Liftwaffer. Guys, in the chat, I mean, the thing is, for a start, we can't hold the left to their own standards because, I mean, look with Justin Trudeau when he was doing blackface and brownface. They don't care. They don't care when we say, but can you imagine if one of us did blackface, how much we get fucking pilloried?
But this is the problem. It's about less imagining what would happen if they did something and nothing would happen, and we did something and everything would happen. That's irrelevant. The point is that's just the paradigm and the times that we find ourselves in. This is one of the reasons that, fuck it, this stream is now Capstan takeover territory now. Is that essentially you've got to spend your time less about, oh, woe is me, woe is us, the situation, or woes in general, to be quite honest, is that you can't just...
that again.
Stop it, you. Is that...
No, don't you dare
go there. Is that... is that instead of this fuck it right, fuck you, fuck the lot of you. Instead of millennial woes bumming people for money, right, is that perhaps we could focus a bit more on about tactics and our current situation about what we're going to do. This is one of the reasons that I respectfully disagree with people between either political or local action. And I think that the majority of our efforts should be put into finding other like-minded people and then getting them into essentially positions where they can actually affect real change, real actual change towards a more healthy, genetically adaptive society.
Do you mean the NRX stuff?
What, mold bug? No, I don't. I don't go in for that really.
Can one of the end goals of this be that we retake the kebab shops? Because I want roast pork and lamb on the spit. And I don't know why this isn't a thing. Why can't we have roast lamb and pork on the spit?
Because we have to have schoolgirls on there, you know, Hobbit.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things, Hobbit, that I'm all for sort of chip shop nationalism. And like, I think that we should absolutely make that a culinary colonization that we have to deal with now.
Actually, the Jews invented fish and chips.
Oh dear. But yeah, so the short answer is we keep doing what we're doing now. We still meet like-minded people. We start going to the pub. We start talking to each other.
Arm wrestling.
And we start helping each other out. We start arm wrestling. I keep winning. Essentially, we keep money in the community.
I'll have you know when it came to. I'll have you know when it came to you on the right arm, I won that one, but no one was counting that.
No, you didn't. That's because you moved your arm from the table and dragged me with you, which didn't count.
You know what? We need to do it that we're facing opposite one another, not that we're on some odd
why do you always do it like diagonally across the table from each other so it doesn't work?
I don't
properly?
know. I don't.
Diagonally across the table is just not a good position for arm wrestling. We need to be facing one another. And you know what? I say it's okay to hold onto the table when you do it, because I've seen arm wrestling. They've got a knob which they can hold on to with their non-wrestling arm.
Oh, mate, are we going to recreate that like a meme
over
or something?
the top?
Well, we'll be arm wrestling, and it won't show our faces, but someone can film it from the side, and like we can paint like on your arm, we can have like we could just put a swastika on your wrist. On mine, we can put a little ANCAP flag on it, and we'll just see who's.
You know, I mean, the thing is, I was talking with some other mates who aren't like fully on with the
No Fun Zone wants
stuff.
to know why your right arm is stronger than your left, Hobbit.
Okay, yeah.
The reason his right arm's stronger than his left, that's because my right arm nearly ripped his out of his socket, and it's the swelling's still going down.
Yeah.
This is trash talking. This is like a boxing match.
Mate, what do you mean? Take your high-minded philosophy and fuck off. I've got to remind Hobbit that I am a superior man to him every now and then. I've got to dominate him in front of you guys.
This is
I
dick
think we
measuring
should have a live
101.
stream, promotional, and then a live
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah, pay-per-view.
Right, lads, I'm going to have to jump off.
No problem.
We
completely understand. Take it easy.
We'll have to get you back sooner next time.
Hey, YouKipper, it was a pleasure to hear from you again, and I like hearing your insights. And do more videos with you, Sirius's music, because that's always good stuff.
Yeah.
Good to chat to you.
Brilliant seeing you.
Nice one. Cheers, Kipper. Thanks a lot, mate.
Right.
Capstone is just gently reminding me that I've got a dumbbell weight here, which I can just like do some bicep curls with whilst we're in the chat. So thank you very much for reminding me about that.
That's all right. I'm actually broadcasting now from my squat rack with a headset in, just with like a barbell, just sort of, just curling right now.
It's great how you can do that without any manly grunting at all.
I know, it's great.
It's like you're a Planet Fitness regular, and you've just you've learned how to do exercising without grunting.
No, I hate that. If I go to a commercial gym, I just grunt more. I just sit there. It's like every time I pull a deadlift.
No, what you need to do is when you're at maximum extension, is just fart as well.
So do you often fart at maximum extension, Hobbit?
It helps with that right arm strength, Capstan.
You just not just you need to just start claiming your space, I suppose.
There are 26 people listening to this.
I
was about to
one of them.
We need to start talking about roundabouts again. That went down really well.
You don't want to know, mate.
Apparently we now know that Hobbit farts at full extension. Whatever you want to do with that information.
Is that your thing? Is that your turn on? What?
Well,
we were talking about Mosley, mate, and it sort of descended into like some kind of weird arm wrestling fetish thing going on.
Hey, I tried to keep this light and fluffy, and then Gray ruined it.
Scuggy Squeege in the chat says, lifting chip shop nationalism, a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. And the thing is, I'm just thinking the end goal of this is I can have a kebab shop where I can be roasting pork and lamb on spit, and people go...
Sorry, carry on. So I made that a bit dark then. I said,
Yeah.
roasting pork and lamb and missing children.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say there's no children in my pork chops. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all out the back, aren't they?
Oh, God's fuck's sake. No, but it's just the fact. I mean, you can have Sharon, Stacey, Gary, or Paul making a kebab, and they won't be wiping their ass with their left hand.
Oh, dear.
That's true, though, mate. That's true. He says in jest, mate. Fuck it.
Well, the thing is, both me and my mate at work, we've both done deliveries for takeaway places. He was doing curries, I was doing chinkies. And he said, you remember there was this packy in the kitchen, and he was spitting his hand every 5 seconds and rubbing them. I'm just like, yeah, that's how he got the flavour in it.
Oh, lovely.
I always made sure to order pork items when I was from the Chinky, because that way one of the Ching Chongers would have to cook it. Because I mean, they did have some Muslims there. Whenever I ordered pork dumplings, they'd hold the bag from them like it was a bag of dog shit, and they'd wear marigolds whilst delivering it to me.
The only thing is when you've got to pick out the cat collar. That's the.
I didn't know 13-year-olds wore chokers these days. I thought that was a 90s thing.
Oh, fuck's sake, Capstan!
Oh no!
Are we gonna talk about some diversity? Are we? I thought
we were actually going on a really good tangent about the things that we've got to do and talking tactics and all that good shit, and then someone decided to ruin it. Gray.
Anyway, it's not your fault you're on Nick Knock, is it?
That means I win that argument, chat.
Capstan, you've asked for it. The nuke.
I've had some good burgers in my time. I love a good Swiss melted Swiss cheese and roasted mushrooms and caramelized onions on a burger. That is hot stuff. You can get that at a number of different places.
Yes, I have. And I would like to get through this content, which I've done in my show. And that way I can say, all this content, what I've done over the week, is now actually part of the show.
How about this? What's this one?
So we can just open the fucking floodgates and let them all come in and say, yeah, come on, come in. Get off your ship. Did you have a safe journey yet? Was it hard, was it? Yeah, here's a corner. Why don't you build a shop?
What's that
film?
This is England, isn't it?
Is that Dave Lister?
Yeah. No, it's Stephen Graham.
No, it looks like him.
Graham.
I don't know why I was agreeing there. He does look a little bit like fucking Stephen Graham with a tan, though. It must be.
Here we go.
This physiognomics.
This is a classic one from the Long Good Friday. I love this one.
It's not coming through, mate.
I can't hear that at all.
Classic. I love the sound of a running tap.
Me too. It's especially from a long way away. Oh yeah, that brings back some happy memories. That one. Thanks for playing that one there. I've probably said this before, but if you guys watch Red Dwarf?
Yeah, I watched the old series back in the day.
Yeah, long time.
I was a kid growing up when I was watching it, and I was naive and sheltered back then, so I didn't have to encounter all this vibrant diversity. And I thought, with David Lister being a bum, and the way his face was brown, I just assumed that he never washed. It was only later on did I find out Craig Charles is actually that's his skin tone. I saw him later in Robot Wars, and I thought he's looking a bit grimy. Oh, hang on, no, he's a half caste. That's why he's supposed to look like that.
Do you remember the pictures of him smoking crack in the back of that taxi?
Was it he's smoking crack and having a wank, but he had the decency to pull over. And that's why I always thought myself he was more white than black.
And then he did time. How long did he do? Didn't him and his mate bang some secretary in a fucking broom cupboard or something and did about 5 years for it?
Why? I mean, it sounds to me like he's been considerate. He's still going to be ooga booga and chimping out now and then, smoking crack and having a wank in his taxi cab. But at least he's considerate and pulls over in a lay-by to do it.
The guy who played the cat and all, Danny, whatever his name
Danny
is,
John
the black
Jules.
fella. Yeah, Danny John Jones got done by going fucking. He went a bit. I think he smoked a bit of the old African ice and ended up going a bit mental and running out with a samurai sword at someone, if I remember rightly.
Oh, but of course you're not. You're forgetting.
My favourite was Adamant. He held up a pub with a gun and an alternator.
What?
I never heard that one.
How is an alternator considered a weapon?
He went into a pub with a gun and an alternator and held it up. That's my favourite.
I just like a gun and an alternator, and I was just like, no, I just think he managed to pick one up. The gun was the real thing. It was just like, yeah, he decided he needed something in his other hand. That's completely knocked me for six. I can't even remember what the point I was going to put. Something about, oh yeah, that's it. Danny John Jules. You're missing his magnum opus, which was Maid Marian. Do you remember Maid Marian?
Yeah.
Yeah, with that what's the name? The guy from Blackadder.
With the
yeah, he was in it. He was in it as well. I know it's Blackadder, but it was like a kid.
Yeah, Tommy Robinson, and I think he was playing a character pretty much.
Hold on. I've found the Adamant story. The fall from grace of Adamant, once dubbed the most beautiful man in pop, reached a new low at the Old Bailey yesterday when the singer pleaded guilty to threatening pubgoers who had mocked his cowboy-style clothes. In his 80s heyday, the charismatic star sold millions of albums and notched up a string of hits. Blah, blah, blah. The real
Do you
singer...
really want to hurt me? I've got
No, it wasn't even a proper gun. It was a starter pistol.
Wait, so he's got a starter pistol and an alternator. I think he was trying to do some art exhibit here.
He was angered when drinkers taunted him for his dress sense by humming the theme from the spaghetti western The Good, Bad and the Ugly. You can't beat a good celeb meltdown, can you?
Oh dear God.
Yeah. To be honest, I fucking hate Adamant. Honestly.
Hold on. The other charges of criminal damage, possession of an imitation firearm, and assault occasioning actual body harm was because a musician in the pub was hit by the alternator were dropped.
Oh, what a
Stand
story.
and deliver your money or your life. Bop, 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 bop. Oi.
With an alternator.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, but I love how. By the way, Gray, you've just reached 174 subs, mate. Congrats.
Hell, nice. We've got 193 playbacks. 200 people have listened to our roundabout talk.
I don't know whether I'm impressed, disgusted, or disappointed. I'm sort of a mixture, really.
Oh dear.
Mm.
So
I want to know, who listens to this kind of material?
I think
the answer is me. I listen to this sort of material.
Do we know any more celeb meltdowns that I can Google so we can have a laugh?
Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, that's not that funny, is it? Oh, actually, speaking of celeb meltdowns, I'm going to put the story in the chat for the drill rap crew that were in court yesterday. Or the other day.
I never would have guessed.
Mobo-nominated drill rappers are jailed for a total of 9 years for running county lines, drugs.
Before you read the story,
go on.
Can you put a picture on the screen showing a picture of this So Solid crew? Because the one on the left literally looks like an orc from Mordor. Seriously, show the chat.
He doesn't, surely. Let's have a look at the article.
No, I'm not even exaggerating. He's wearing an orc mask.
The one on the... Holy shit. Oh my God.
Anyway, it's not your fault you're on Nick Nog, is it?
He fucking does as well.
I mean, this is blatant anti-hobbitism. I can't stand for this sort of stuff.
Mate, you prepare for your shire to get scoured, son. I mean...
Yeah, it's over, mate. It's over.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
Let's read out some names, shall we? Cassiel Wouter Afay, a.k.a. Scribs, and Malky Martin, a.k.a. ASAP. Both jailed. Jeez.
Oh, and Nabugu's in this as well.
Is he? I fucking love him. He's my favourite drug dealer.
Is he your favourite rapper?
He's my favourite.
That's why I can't be racist.
He's my favourite bad boy that's trying to get his life together.
Oh mate, have we now evolved that I can't be racist? Scribs is my favourite musician.
It looks like Slipknot blacked up.
So what is this county line stuff anyway? Does anybody know?
Does it know what? Sorry.
Yeah.
County lines, what that's all about. It seems like some yank thing that they've foisted upon us.
Isn't that every bit of rap music ever though?
Hey, yeah. You're going to be shocked by this line. In a London Crown Court, heard that Wouter, Afay and Martin had prior convictions for possession with intent to supply crack, cocaine and heroin related to 2013. I bet you're fucking shocked, aren't you?
That's just racist, mate.
I'm shocked, I tell you.
Mate, I'm not being funny, lads, but I think Jackson will agree with me that we need a far larger youth club presence on our streets.
Yeah.
After this incident, isn't that right, Jackson?
That's it, mate. Take them knives off and give them ping pong bats.
Ping pong bats. I was literally about to say that a distinct lack of ping pong tables in the home counties.
It's a ping pong racist.
Ping pong shortage has led to this violent epidemic.
Oh mate.
Well, the thing is though, we've all seen the story. If you do give them a ping pong table, they just fucking chase each other around it and try and kill themselves that way instead, don't they?
They'll sharpen the ping pong bats into shifts. That's what I was thinking the other day. I thought 28 days later, when you've got the rage-infected monkeys, the way to deal with it, mate. Ping pong.
Guys, I said I was going to be AFK because I'm cooking crumpet at the moment, but you're talking about ping pong bats and stuff like that. Do you remember when Boris Johnson said on the London Olympics that ping pong's coming home?
Yeah, and he was branded a racist, wasn't he? Coming home, he's coming home, he's coming, ping pong's coming home.
Ping pong's coming home.
He didn't even call it table tennis, which I know stokes some autism somewhere. Apparently ping pong and table tennis are two different games.
They are, yes. I discovered this year as well.
No, please tell me. Please, no, not you, Mosley. Not you as well. No.
I actually watched the ping pong world championships. I can't.
How? I mean, was it? I mean, okay. What? All of it?
It's different. No, not all of it. No, not every single game. No. I do other things in my life apart from watch ping pong. No, apparently it's the amount of times the ball bounces. When it comes over the net is the difference in the game. Apparently the main difference. I can't remember which one's which. One's once, one's twice, and I haven't got a clue which one is to each one. But yeah, it's basically table tennis, but just a different name.
Yeah.
Right, I've got another story. Got another story for you, lads. University racism study is criticised for including anti-white harassment. Academics and student leaders accuse Equalities Watchdog of drawing a false equivalence. Do we need to read the article?
Do we even need to read the article, though? Do we actually need to read the article?
I don't think we do we?
I think I'm just going to do a bit of mindless speculation.
Well, actually,
and I'll simply say this: it's not anti-white harassment. We're not white, we're Jewish, isn't that right, lads?
Yeah.
So anything they say, it's just anti-Semitism.
We're all Holocaust survivors here.
Mm-hmm. Remember, guys, dig deep.
I got some stats.
Yeah, but all four of my grandparents survived the Holocaust.
Yeah. All four.
Because they lived through the 1940s, didn't they?
They did have to look at a pile of shoes, but
yeah, I know there isn't there, Jackson. It's just like it's trying to balance. I really want to make that joke, and I also don't want to go to prison. It's
I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to get this channel banned, so I'm gonna mute.
He's actually got muted himself, chat as well. I bet he's saying that joke right now in front of his microphone just to get it out of his system. And we'll never hear it.
As I was saying, according to the Watchdog student survey, 9% of white British students experience racial harassment, compared with 29% of black students and 27% of Asian students. They're fucking rookie numbers. Only 29%, aren't they?
Yeah, that's 1 in 10, man. That's 1 in 10.
Yeah.
You know.
This stream seems to be winding down.
I am the 1 in 10.
Is it me?
Is it winding down? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the energy's.
It's not. I'm still. The night is young, guys. I'm just in the middle of like doing crumpet.
Well, you carry on.
I've got to fuck up in a bit anyway.
Yeah.
Oh dear. To be fair, it is like the Tuesday night boys, so it's like, you know. Oh dear, dearie me. There are still 25 people watching.
Oh, I shall bang through
to your families for fuck's sake.
I shall bang through some headlines then. British lesbian couple become first to both carry same baby.
Yeah, I did see that one.
So literally ripping the baby out of one cunt and shoving it into another.
Oh, does anyone know who alleged neo-Nazi Andrew Dimmock is? He's up for 12 terror charges. Alfred Albion had some rookie numbers, didn't he?
Oh dear. I'll tell you what. There, I know what we can speak about because I know I saw it. I've seen it in the chat for some other streams.
Oh,
are we doing any podcast meetups or events, like call-in shows or anything, or any IRL shit?
Does now the thing's getting bigger, but everyone will go, oh, I don't like Discord, but Discord's the easiest one to do a call-in show on, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean maybe you could bill it as something like we can do call-ins, but like optional call-ins or something. Like, you know, we'll put on a show or something, and then we'll do like, you know, and if you want to actually get involved, you know, join the Discord and like hop on or something, you know.
Yeah, can do
something like that. I'm just trying to think. You know, press.
We're really friendly. We won't give you much bounce, but we will ask you where you stand on the burger question.
The burger question.
There you go. And we could do call-in topics that aren't.
Did you say the burger question?
I've had some good burgers in my time. I love a good Swiss melted Swiss cheese and roasted mushrooms and caramelized onions on a burger. That is hot stuff. You can get that at a number of different places.
Your soundboard privileges will be revoked by majority force if we have to.
I'm on board with that.
In the ethno state, Hemi won't have a soundboard.
But Richard Spencer will be
he'll be bound and gagged, so he can't actually touch his laptop either, and we'll just take the gag off when he wants to speak.
What else we got here?
Well, thanks for listening, folks.
Oh dear Christ! Anyway, lads, we have been. To be fair, we've been going for about 2 hours 20.
We did use the we did use to try 2 hours, didn't we? I think we did 2:20, so we put in some hefty shows lately, haven't we? I think we're going to wind up there.
Yeah,
anybody got anything to plug?
Yep.
Jackson gone, has he?
I think he might have buggered off.
No, I'll just come back. So
I was just going to mention what you do in election night, Jackson.
Election night, I think I'm on a stream with the Tassob boys. I've got a load of I've got fucking everyone said, "Oh, I'll come out for election night, come out, have a drink and all that," but probably not the best idea. Go out for a quiet one, end up on Crime Watch sort of thing.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
you've only got so many ribs, Jackson. I don't think you could do a breaking anymore.
Exactly.
Jackson. When you're on the stream with the Tassob guys, tell them to come up with a pint for us, and we'll do an arm wrestle.
Fucking. So this is the start of some one of Richard Spencer's gay fantasies, is it?
Did you say Richard Spencer?
No, I think we need to do a heat. I mean, we need to just find who's the best at it, and then we'll win.
Oh, mate, but we don't do arm wrestles with anyone else. We're weak as shit. It's only funny because, like, you know, we're ridiculously mismatched. But because I've been training for longer than you, is that, you know, it actually looks quite funny. You know, when Jackson gets involved, it's going to be like, you know, great. I now get my knuckles embedded into some fucking table at a pub. You know, that's not fun. I need them.
That would be embarrassing. I was just thinking to myself, I kind of like the idea of training up, and then just like the idea of like the podcast you should listen to is based on physical prowess.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boys, that's the one. That's the most fucking useful one. I'll fucking go to my grave saying that. So if you want to learn something, yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's fucking brilliant.
That's all right though, because Hobbit again. I'll talk to you about it after the stream, but we'll discuss that in more detail for a later event. Just out of curiosity, when is election night? Because I'm that far out of the loop and don't care.
Well,
it's two days away.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. Shit, I had no idea.
I know I'm going to be on the podcast and they're going to be talking about the election. Oh, Conservatives won. I'll be like, I still don't care.
Well, I'm doing.
If
anybody wants to avoid the election night, I'm doing 14 words as usual, and we're doing numbers stations this week.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm going to be on with the Tassod boys, and we're
I don't think it's really worth starting election streams till probably about 11 o'clock. Because I mean, what time does Sunderland? Is it Sunderland are usually first to declare?
Yeah, they race to be the first to declare, don't they?
Yeah, and that's
I
about
don't know. It's quite
10,
late.
isn't it?
It's generally quite late, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think
it's not worth starting because Brutus wants to do a stream as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think
which I'm sure Capson will be on.
I don't know if I'll be. I might be starting a new job, so I don't know if I'll be able to make any of them. But in terms of like election streams, I might just hold like the anti-election streams, like the I don't know. I might like. I don't have a channel to stream on, but I might find someone who's willing to stream.
Does that mean you'll come on 14 words and talk about neurolinguistic programming as well as number stations?
No.
NLP? We're not talking about election.
I can't wait for Brutus to start casting spells to influence the election.
There we go. That's what we can do on 14 words. We can get fucking zero to, can we do like a meditation chant?
No, we can't. And I shall leave that one as a teaser. There's a reason that we don't know anything about.
Get the mental Canadian bint on to get a magic force hammer and give us Brexit or something.
Yeah, get that. Or is that the same mental bit that does wholesome porn? Is that one? Yeah, get her jugs out for the election or something. I don't know. That'll get you some viewers.
Stop his fucking voting.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah. Also, what are we suggesting to write on the spoiled ballot?
If I'm honest, I changed my tune now. Don't write none on the ballot. Just write a poem. Just write a poem.
Should I put a link to the spoiled ballot thing in the notes?
No, lads. What you've got to do is on your spoiled ballot. You're right. You've got to take the URL from this channel, all right, and you've got to write that on the ballot, all right.
A bit of self.
Yeah, literally, we've got to take like Jackson's channel and Gray's and Hemmingford Gray's channel. There you go.
On their ballot, remember, lads, subscribe to Jackson.
Subscribe to Jackson and subscribe to Gray. There you go. Sweet. That's how we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I've actually mine's not gobbledygook anymore. I did apply for the Hemmingford Grey now, so you can. It's actually channel/whatever Hemmingford Grey. Because once you get to 100 listeners, you can claim your own URL.
Oh, it's still gobbledygook for me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how you should vote. Go and take go and take a marker pen into it with you, and go and write the URL of your favorite YouTube channel on the ballot, and say Jackson for Prime Minister, or Gray for Home Secretary, or Capstan for I don't know.
I think Jackson's proved his diplomatic skills this weekend, didn't he? So I think he should be Home Office.
Fuck off. No, I don't. Yeah, the only time I would ever take politics, it would not be democratic. Let's put it that way. It would involve a quick spell in prison, and then a night where some windows are broken, and yeah.
Would there be a best-selling book in there as well somewhere?
There would be a best-selling book in there.
A best-selling book.
Something about a struggle.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember the Harry
Would it be
Enfield?
about your struggle?
Do you remember the Harry Enfield one? I've got use for your dodgy windows. Do you remember that one? No.
Oh.
Right, I think this is done now, so I'm going to end it. Night all.
Oh yeah, but before we go, I just want to say, people, when you go to the pub, encourage your friends to do arm wrestling. Physical prowess is a good idea. You'll feel better for it, even if you lose.
Yeah.
Nice one. In that case, then, before we go, should we start plugging everyone?
Yeah, I was going to say YouKipper was in earlier. I've put both his Twitter and his YouTube in the show links. I'll put Jackson's in there as well.
Cool. Also subscribe to Hobbit Speaks.
Yeah, is
which is still up.
June Let's
Hobbit
Play
Speaks. Oh yes, 10 hours of Kino glory, pure gold.
Yeah. And look out for, on this channel or other channels in these circles, look out for Capstan and 8-Bit Mosley's history stream eventually when I get round to actually fucking doing it, because I've been busy as fuck this past few weeks.
Capstan and Mosley's Excellent Adventure. No.
Mate, I can't. The problem is that I don't even want to insult the memory of Keanu Reeves at this stage of the game. He's actually quite a good actor. I liked him in John Wick 1 and 2.
I liked him in Memento.
Oh, yeah, this is never going to wrap up, is it? So I'm going to go.